And Dan Fouts, what is it like for a quarterback to be out for 4 weeks and then come back?
Well, it's not going to be an easy situation for Doug. The one thing I'm interested in seeing is how well he does in ad-lib situations. He had 2 good days of practice early this week, and the biggest boost that he has going for himself is that Kelvin Bryant is now added to that first down offense.
Now, what are the realistic chances for the Packers to spring an upset this afternoon?
Well, Lindy Infante told us yesterday that he needs to get big plays out of his offense and out of his defense. He knows it's going to be very tough to run against that giant skin line, and then he's going to have to rely upon Don Majkowski throwing the ball down the field.
The weather conditions are not good. It is raining. The temperature is 46 degrees. We have wind, and the field is not in ideal condition. As the Packers win the toss, they'll receive. Chip Lohmiller kicking off, and going back to receive it is Brent Fullwood at the 5-yard line. And Fullwood fumbles it out of bounds. It's still Packer ball as we start the game. Don Majkowski starting his 3rd game.
Forward on the return.
He has a winning record as a starter. Will face a Redskin defense, one of the best in the league. Charles Mann, Dave Butts, Darrell Grant, and Dexter Manley. Up front, you won't find any better. Wilbur Marshall, Neil Olkewicz, and Monty Coleman are the linebackers. Secondary, Brian Davis and Darrell Green at cornerback, Alvin Walton and Todd Bowles, 2 outstanding safeties. Don Majkowski, 2nd year out of the University of Virginia, going against the Redskins. On the 29, first down, Keith Woodside gets maybe a yard, and Neil Olkewicz makes the tackle for Washington. The rest of the offense for the Packers. Woodside starts with Brent Fullwood, who's not 100%. Philip Epps and Sterling Sharp are the wide receivers. They've lost Walter Stanley for the season. Ed West, the tight end. Up front, Ken Rutgers, Rich Moran, Mark Cannon, Ron Hallstrom, and Keith Euchre. 2nd down and 9 at the 20-yard line. Packers will shuttle in plays with their wide receivers, and Perry Kemp, number 81, in there now. Majkowski, incomplete. He was going for his tight end, Ed West, and Monty Coleman was defending to bring up 3rd and long.
And 9.
One of the things the Skins have to do early today, Dick, is to take the emotion out of this crowd and break the spirit of the Packers. The Packers feel that they've got things going on the right track. They've got their fans all excited here in Milwaukee. The whole state's alive with the Packers.
This is the series. Last time they met 2 years ago, but this is the first time since 1952 that the Redskins have played here in Milwaukee. 3rd down and 9 at the 30. Majkowski in the shotgun, and he prefers the shotgun. And Majkowski, who can run, doesn't get far. Back to the line of scrimmage where Dexter Manley puts the stop on. And that'll bring up 4th down, and Don Bracken will come in and kick as Manley is slow getting up.
Good pressure on Majkowski for the 2nd play in a row. He wanted to go deep to the left side here, as you can see, and the pressure comes from Mann. This is great for the Skins. They finally have their 2 great pass rushers healthy and 100%, Charles Mann and Dexter Manley.
Don Bracken will kick, and Derek Shepard goes back. Joe Gibbs says that he's the closest thing to Mike Nelms, the great Redskin returner he has seen. Shepard at the 39 has no chance as he's hit at the 40. Clint Didier, we'll be seeing a lot of him. The former Redskin tight end makes the stop. So Doug Williams returns to the starting lineup for the Redskins, and he'll look at this offense, this defense for Green Bay. Alfonso Carricker, Blaze Winter, and Robert Brown up front. Most of the action will come from the linebackers, Anderson, Holland, Noble, and Harris. And the secondary. 1st and 10 at the 41. Kelvin Bryant is the lone running back. And Bryant gets the call, finds an opening, and Bryant into Packer territory. Inside the 40 and knocked out of bounds at the 34-yard line by Tim Harris. And that's why the Redskins have used Bryant on all downs now.
We're going to see a lot of this today because the Redskins feel their size up front is so much bigger than the Packer front line. This is a great hole. Raleigh McKenzie pulled up in there, and then the great speed and decision-making of Kelvin Bryant to cut to the outside and pick up extra yardage.
A 24-yard gain by Kelvin Bryant, and the Redskins have a first down on the Packer 34. They go to Bryant again. Out of bounds. He picked up about 3 on the play, and John Anderson was there on the stop. The rest of the Redskin offense, besides Bryant and Williams, Art Monk and Gary Clark, the wideouts, Craig McEwen, the H-back, and Don Warren, the tight end. Great offensive line. Joe Jacoby, who's been banged up, Raleigh McKenzie, Jeff Bostic, Mark May, and Jim Lachey, the right tackle. Second down and 8 at the 32. Updating the Dallas-Philadelphia score. The Eagles, who were way behind, now trail by only 23-17 in the fourth quarter. That's McEwen in motion. And Bryant, close to first down yardage. He may be short by about 1.5 yards. Tim Harris and Johnny Holland on the stop, so they're giving Bryant a lot of work here.
Well, he wanted it earlier in the year. He says, hey, I want to be an every down back. I can carry the ball 30 times a game. What he's found out is that those 30 carries are quite painful, and he may be happier carrying it less than that.
Dan, the Redskins taking a chance and using Bryant a lot on running downs, risking the fact that he has been fragile in the past to run him 25, 30 times.
Joe Gibbs calls it playing on the ragged edge.
So we may see a lot of Timmy Smith, who's in there right now, with Terry Orr blocking in front. Smith, who needed 2 yards for the first down, gets more than enough inside the 25. Johnny Holland again on the stop. So Smith goes out and Bryant comes in. And now the Giants have scored still in the fourth quarter. They were down at one point 16-6. They've come from behind to lead Atlanta 23-16. That's not good news for Redskins fans.
Well, it looked like they were headed to overtime. It must have been a turnover or something on the ensuing kickoff after they scored.
First down for the Redskins on the 22-yard line, and that's what happened.
Carl Banks intercepted a pass, returned it for a touchdown, 16 yards to give the Giants the lead.
Now Don Warren moves, and Bryant, penalty marker is down. Our first penalty of the day, as Bryant picked up a few, and it'll be a holding call against Washington.
And this is what Lindy and Fonte talked about as far as big plays. This is a big play early in the game. Although it's just a penalty, it moves the Skins back and out of automatic field goal position.
Holding, number 63 on the offense, still first
Fred
down.
Cashin, our referee, and Raleigh McKenzie was holding on the play, so that will move the Redskins back. They were driving. The big play had been a 24-yard run by Kelvin Bryant. So it'll be first and 20 for the Redskins on the Green Bay 32.
And we'll see how Doug Williams is feeling. This is obvious pass situation the next couple of downs.
He's kept it on the ground exclusively. And Williams and Art Monk cannot hold on. The pass is incomplete. And that will bring up second down and 20. Monk caught two touchdown passes last week when Mark Rippon was the quarterback, and he hadn't gotten a lot of attention for a while, and I think Doug Williams wants to go back to Monk a lot.
He's such a big play receiver. In fact, the Redskins are blessed with 3 big play wide receivers, and then you add Kelvin Bryant. You got 4 guys that can catch the ball anywhere on the field and turning into a big play, even a touchdown.
11 minutes and 20 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Redskins, second down and 20 on the 32-yard line. And here's Bryant. Gets it hole up the middle, and Kelvin Bryant drags Green Bay tacklers down to the 15-yard line. It'll be short of a first down by about 3 yards, or maybe 2. Mark Murphy and Tiger Green on the stop.
One thing you've got to do if you're going to throw the ball is you're going to have to be effective running the delay in obvious pass situations. The Redskins ran a little trap there on the draw play. Great blocking up front, and Kelvin Bryant has got the ability to just stick it right down the field.
The Giants beat Atlanta 23-16, so they will retain at least a share of first place in the NFC East. Third down and 4. the middle, incomplete. He was going for Art Monk again. Johnny Holland was covering on the...
I think that's just a case of being rusty. You know, you can practice all you want and feel good about how you do in practice, but there's nothing like getting out on the field. Two passes now. Williams has thrown to Art Monk, and he's missed them on both times, throwing it a little bit short.
So the Redskins will try to settle for a field goal, and Chip Lohmiller, who is 8 for 13 this year, will attempt a 33-yard field goal. His longest has been from 46 yards. McEwen holds, and the kick is good.
The kick is good.
So the Redskins get something on the board. Chip Lohmiller's 33-yard field goal. It's 3-0 Washington. Back here in Milwaukee, where the Redskins lead the Packers 3-0 on Chip Lohmiller's field goal. Key play was a Bryant 25-yard run, and he gained 49 yards in 4 carries. Off to a great start.
Off to a great start, especially that first play.
So Lohmiller will be kicking off. On the left is Brent Fullwood and Keith Woodside on the right. Keep in mind the Packers missed Walter Stanley, who not only was their best wide receiver, but a great return man as well. It's taken by Woodside at the 1. And Woodside is down at the 18.
That's a difficult situation for the Packers with the injuries to their special teams, especially their kick returners. They have both their starting running backs, Woodside and Fullwood, back there returning kickoffs. Not the best situation for special teams.
Makowski, who went to the University of Virginia, said that he has a lot of friends who will be watching this game in the D.C. area, but he grew up in Buffalo, New York. He said, I was a Bills fan, not a Redskins fan growing up.
He's going to be tested today. This is the best defensive line he has seen in his life, and if he plays long enough, it'll go down as one of the best ever.
He hopes to play long enough, that's for sure. 1st and 10 on the 18. Woodside goes in motion. Makowski gets a rush, and the pass is overthrown, intended for Woodside, who claimed he was pushed by Alvin Walton, but there are no flags down.
Redskins feel very happy about the fact that Dexter Manley is back and playing well. He's really the key to the pass rush, along with Charles Mann. Here you see him lined up on the left side, something a little bit of a change-up, something to give the Packers more to think about, as if they don't have enough already.
This is the first time, in essence, that the Redskins have been able to start Mann, Butts, Grant, and Manley. They played for one play against the Redskins, or against the Pittsburgh before an injury, but they're intact really for the first time. 2nd and 10 on the 18. 3-0 Washington. Makowski overthrows Woodside again. He was covered downfield by Wilbur Marshall. He has missed on his first 3 passes, and Dallas leading Philadelphia in the 4th quarter 23-17.
The one thing Makowski will see today is a lot of different types of coverages. He's a young quarterback. He does not have a lot of experience. And when Richie Pettibone, the defensive coach for the Redskins, comes up against a quarterback like this, he's going to test him not only physically but mentally.
And he says the best thing to do with a quarterback like that is put him on his butt.
As often and as early as possible.
3rd down and 10 for the Packers as the rain comes down a bit harder now at County Stadium. And the quarterback draw, Makowski driving for the first down, gets it with an extra effort. Gain of 18. He adds a lot of spark, and the fans love it. A gain of 18, 1st down, Green Bay.
Coaching staff of the Skins didn't fear a lot coming into today's game, but they did fear Makowski's running ability. He's the type of quarterback like a Randall Cunningham or a John Elway that can give you a lot of problems. Not what you can do in the pocket so much, but what you do with your legs running the ball. That was a fantastic run by Makowski.
And you can see how the Packers have been a lot better under Makowski as opposed to Randy Wright, who is inactive for the 3rd straight game with a groin injury today. 1st and 10 Packers on the 36-yard line. 9:18 to go, 1st quarter. Plenty of time. Makowski is looking for Epps, who almost made a tremendous catch. Darrell Green was the defensive back that Epps had beaten.
Take a look at the blocking on Dexter Manley here. He is, of course, going to get a lot of attention today. Keith Euchre does a super job of keeping him away, but the Packers have got to make that catch. This is the type of play that Lindy Infante is telling us about before the game, the big play. Not always a touchdown, but you've got to make a play to break the back of the Skins defense, to make them think, hey, listen, these guys are good enough to beat us.
And he doesn't want to fall behind by 10 or more points, because the Redskins will then keep the ball on the ground all day. 2nd and 10. Pressure on Makowski. Olkewicz missed him, and Makowski goes deep. And he just threw it too far for Keith Woodside, who was downfield covered by the free safety Todd Bowles.
I asked Makowski yesterday, when he gets out of the pocket and he is on the run, what is he looking to do? Is he looking to run for the first down, or is he looking for a receiver? And he said, well, it depends on the down and distance situation. If it's 3rd and long or 2nd and long, I'm going to look to throw it. But that time, I felt that he could have probably packed it under his arm and taken off and gotten 10 yards. He saw Woodside deep, but you've got so much adrenaline going, your heart's pumping so fast, that's a very difficult throw to try to complete.
He's yet to complete one, Dan. 0 for 5 thus far, and now faces a 3rd and 10 on the Packer 36. 3-0 Redskins. Hamilton and Hamill have come in as tacklers for pass rushing. Marcus Cook also there. And Makowski is decked, and that was Charles Mann. They had a stun on the Redskins, and Charles Mann picks up the 2nd sack of the game for the Redskins. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Charles Mann has only got 2 sacks because of that injury to his hip, but he told us earlier in the year that his goal is to get as many or more as Reggie White. Well, the injury set him back a ways, but at least he's back on track, headed in the right direction.
There's Derek Shepard. And Don Bracken getting set to punt for the 2nd time in this first quarter. High kick, not a far kick, and a fair catch called for, and fielded at the 35 by Steve Gibbs. So the Redskins, who got 3 points the first time they had the ball, have good field position the 2nd time they have it. We'll be back to the floor. Here in Milwaukee, where the Packers play 3 of their games, get a look at the wind. Look at the left light tower and how it goes back and forth. That's kind of scary.
Well, so they say it's a 17-mile-an-hour wind, but up there it's got to be blowing about 20 or 30. But down on the field, you don't see a lot of papers blowing around. I believe that the grandstand to the left side of the field here really protects the playing surface here.
Redskins with a 3-0 lead and 8:36 to go in the first quarter, have a first down and 10 on their 35-yard line. Going with 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and Kelvin Bryant. Bryant goes over the 50-yard mark so far in this game and brings it out to the 42, where Brian Noble makes the stop.
One of the real matchups today will be Tim Harris, number 97, going against number 66 there, Joe Jacoby. Harris is a big play man for the Packers, and the Skins treat him and want to treat him today very much the same way that they treat Lawrence Taylor or Carl Banks. He is a dominant outside linebacker.
And they've handled all the tough ones that have come their way, even though they lost 2 games to the Giants. 2nd and 3 at the 42. Bryant with McEwen blocking. And Bryant close to first down yardage. Let's see where they spot the ball. Chuck Cecil ultimately makes the tackle on Kelvin, who in the early going here has averaged 10 yards a carry.
You see him on this sloppy field like this. He reminds me a little bit of the other great running backs that the Skins have had, George Rogers and John Riggins, at least recently. And you've got to feel that this is the type of offense that Joe Gibbs wants to run today, a very patient, ground, ball control type of offense, especially with the fact that Doug Williams is coming back after being off for 4.
And he told us that he wasn't so sure he was happy about the kind of pass offense that they've shown, the big play late.
They made a lot of big plays. He's a little nervous about that. How long can it last?
First down at the Redskin 46. And they give it to Bryant. Still going. Kelvin Bryant picks up another first down. Mark Murphy makes the stop. Bryant with 11 more yards is having a phenomenal first quarter. 71 yards and 7 carries already for Bryant.
Well, you talked about the big play of the Redskins. Well, look how it affects the secondary. They're thinking pass right now. They're thinking play action pass. Ken Stills is late coming up, and Mark Murphy has to come up to make the tackle also. So the safeties are thinking deep, and the Skins, once they break that line of scrimmage, Kelvin Bryant, they're making good yardage.
They're in Packer territory at the 43 with 6:25 to go in the first quarter. Williams, with his third pass of the afternoon, finally completes one to Art Monk. And Monk makes the catch at the 34-yard line. Mark Lee on the stop. So of the 11 plays thus far run off by the Redskins, 8 of them have been on the ground.
And of the 3 passes, that was the most important for Doug Williams because it was a completion. And now he's got the monkey off his back. He's going to start to get more relaxed and more comfortable in the offense.
You notice that Mark Lee was limping slightly. He was inactive last week because of a groin pull against the Vikings, and Ron Pitts played there. So the Packers, who are second to the Vikings with 14 interceptions in the NFL, as they bring out the sticks right now, are pretty much banged up in the secondary. And without a great pass rush, that could spell trouble.
Well, it's amazing, though, to me that their defensive front has only made 12 sacks all year. They've got 6 of those 12 sacks from their linebacker, Tim Harris. Nobody on that defensive line has more than 1, but yet they've made so many turnovers. They've gotten 14 interceptions and 10 fumble recoveries. So they're doing something right. Maybe they're doing it with mirrors.
And they've won 2 in a row, but this is their toughest foe. Short of the first down, 2nd and 1 for the Redskins on the 34. Timmy Smith, the running back. Smith will get the first down, as he is stopped after 30. Brian Noble and Johnny Anderson on the stop. Green Bay Packers, in the last 2 games, have played their best against the run this year. In their last 2 games, they have allowed 76, and last week 67 yards. Already Kelvin Bryant has smashed that total.
Heading for more, I got a feeling.
Redskins with their 5th first down of the game, all on the ground on the 30. Williams has a lot of time, and wide open is Craig McEwen. He'll get 9 yards on that reception. Johnny Holland on the tackle, and McEwen could have built a fire. He was so wide open and all alone out there.
Well, and he showed his inexperience with his running ability after he made the catch. What you want to do when you catch that hook pattern outside like that is turn back out to the outside, to the sidelines, because there ain't no help coming to block for any more yardage. All you got is a lot of green jerseys coming at you, and the best place to go is outside.
Williams has kept the ball on the ground. 2nd and 2 on the 22. 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Here's Bryant. Nothing this time. So for the first time, the Packers exult, as well they should. They finally stopped Kelvin Bryant. That was Robert Brown and John Anderson that occasion.
When a team's running the ball down your throat, what you've got to do is you've got to bring your linebackers up and you've got to blitz them. You've got to fill every gap along that offensive line. The Packers did it that time, and they were very successful.
That's what the Redskins have done. No doubt. Gibbs kind of football on the ground. 3rd and 1 at the 21-yard line. 3 wide receivers. Williams fires. Touchdown, Art Monk. He got out of a little trouble, and Doug Williams threads the needle, and a touchdown pass to Art Monk. And the Redskins lead at 9-0, and for Monk, that is his 4th touchdown reception of the year.
And if there was ever any doubt about the condition of Doug Williams and his throwing motion or anything else to do with his health, all the questions were answered on that throw. He backed out of some trouble, threw the ball off balance with a flick of the wrist, found Monk on the goal line. Monk stepped in for the 6th.
3rd TD for Monk, who looks like he's hurting a bit. He's wincing on the sidelines. 3rd touchdown reception in 2 games. And now Chip Lohmiller will try to add the 10th point. And he does. 4:09 to go. There's Art Monk being tended to for the moment, but the Redskins are sitting pretty, 10-0.
This should replay. Raleigh McKenzie's going to get an outstanding block here on Robert Brown. And Williams will sidestep, and we'll see Monk come into the picture right down the gut. The safeties are nowhere. Williams backing away, throws it sidearm. Great touch right in the end zone.
Great combination of quarterbacks the Redskins have. Rippon, #1 rated in the NFC, and now Williams leads them to a 10-0 lead. Lohmiller kicks off into the end zone, and Fullwood thought about running it out and then decided to take it back there and down it for a touchback. We're at County Stadium in Milwaukee. Overcast and rainy afternoon with the lights turned on. The Redskins with 10 points in the first quarter, lead 10-0. That was a 65-yard drive, capped by Williams' 21-yard pass to Art Monk. So already the Green Bay Packers, with any hopes they have of an upset, they better start getting it together, and Lindy and Fonnie knows what it'd be like to fall way behind this team.
They're going to have to earn it today. Don't want to get behind the Redskins early.
Don Mikowski, the quarterback, first down at the 20. Here is Fullwood, and he's hit immediately by Darrell Grant. You hear very little about Grant, but Grant and Butts do the bulk of the work in stopping opposing runners, which is one of the reasons why the Redskins enjoy the success defensively.
Well, bulk of the work is a good way to put it. 275 pounds for Grant, and of course, who knows how much Big Dave Butts weighs.
Redskins have gained 118 yards to 8 for the Green Bay Packers.
Second and 13.
They lost 3 yards on that play, and it's second down. 3:25 remaining in the first quarter. Larry Mason, number 34, is the up back. In the backfield, Woodside was slowed up. Kurt Gouveia slowed him, and Monty Coleman made the stop, preventing Woodside from getting a good gain. He brought it out to the 21, and it'll be 3rd and long against the Redskin defense.
And now that Mikowski's going to be seeing the Redskins defense in their nickel situation. Now, no defense, no team in the NFL will situation substitute better than the Washington Redskins. They probably invented it a few years back. Richie Pettibone, that's really his signature on his football team.
3rd down and 9 at the 21-yard line. Low snap, Mikowski in trouble, going for Epps. And the penalty marker down, and Epps was interfered with by Darrell Green. That'll be a Packer first down.
Number 46 on the defense. First down.
They called it on Dennis Woodbury, number 46.
I'm not sure they got the right fella there. That looks like Darrell Green to me on Philip Epps. And Mikowski threw a Canadian honker out there. Epps had Green beat. And I'm surprised that the referee here, you see he was about to wave it incomplete, changed his mind at the last second and threw the flag. Very obvious call, though, from here.
Poor Dennis Woodbury. He wasn't even on the field at the time. It was Darrell Green all the way. Canadian honker, huh? I like that. First down at the 48, Packers in their own territory. Getting the call, Woodside. And he gets into Redskin territory barely at the 49-yard line. Good ad-libbing by the rookie from Texas A&M. Walton and Coleman on the stop. And a pickup of about 4. Woodside is starting at running back. He is a third-round choice out of Texas A&M, and he led the Packers in rushing last week. Kenneth Davis, who normally starts in that position, is on injured reserve with a sprained ankle. He was the second leading rusher, but they like Woodside, his ability to catch the pass. 2nd and 7 at the 49. Fullwood moves outside as a receiver. Mikowski up the middle, wide open Woodside. Woodside to the 25. Woodside may outrace everybody, and he does. Touchdown, Packers. A 49-yard play. Keith Woodside, and the Packers get back in the game.
This is the big play that Lindy says he has to have today to win this ball game. Mikowski does a nice job of sidestepping in the pocket, keeping his wits about himself, and the man guarding Woodside fell down. This is just great open field running ability now as Woodside smells that end zone. He's not going to be denied as he changes the ball and gets in.
So Keith Woodside with his first TD reception. And Mikowski couldn't pick a better time to complete his first pass of the game. Now Max Zendejas, who spent 9 games with the Redskins 2 years ago, converts the extra point. So a big 49-yard play puts the Packers back in this game with a minute and a half for Sanders, and that may be a first down for the Redskins. John Anderson making the tackle, and good pressure by Tim Harris, who got to Williams as he let go of the ball. Gain of 11.
Harris is going to give him a shot in the back just to say hi there. Another fine throw by Williams, showing really the strength of that right arm. Here's Harris coming all the way around Joe Jacoby. Never gives up, just fights his way through there and leaves his calling card.
Harris, the NFC Defensive Player of the Week, and as Infante said, winning brings recognition, and that's what happened. They have the first down by just a couple of inches, and the Redskins, with less than a minute to go in the first quarter and leading 10-7, have the ball at the 40-yard line, call it the 41, in their own zone. Big game for Harris last week, his first NFL points with the safety in the block punt. Here's Bryant. Bryant gets about a yard and a half. Bryant Noble inside, taking the stop, and now Kelvin Bryant is upset with Brian Noble on Noble's tackle. We've had a couple of skirmishes, mild ones thus far.
Well, you know what that 49-yard touchdown did for the Packers? It gave them the belief that, hey, we're on the same field with these guys. We can play the defending champs. And now their defense is getting fired up. They've made a good hit on Williams there. They've stopped Bryant on this play just now. So they're feeling better about themselves as we come to the end of the first quarter.
Well, the Redskins took a 10-0 lead and looked good for Washington, and then the big plays brought the Packers back. And that is the end of the first quarter. 10-7 our score. Lohmiller with a 33-yard field goal, and then Doug Williams back in the lineup. He missed 4 weeks with an appendectomy, and Mark Rippon suffered a rib injury, and Williams responded, hit Art Monk 21 yards for a touchdown. It was 10-0 before the Packers came back on a pass. Mikowski to Woodside, 49 yards, and that's where we are as the Redskins start the second quarter. Second down and 9 on their own 42. Kelvin Bryant gained 74 yards, averaged over 8 yards a carry in that first quarter. Bryant again, he breaks one, and Bryant into Packer territory as the first down plus. Tiger Green makes the tackle, and Kelvin Bryant with 15 more yards to his total, and he's getting near 100 already.
Redskins go back to the very first play of the game. This little delay to Bryant with the big guard pulling up through there, McKenzie. You don't see many backs get into the secondary like that, like we're seeing here today. Bryant is having a fantastic day, but the Hogs up front are really rooting him out.
Jacoby, McKenzie, Bostic, May, and Lachey, and Packers haven't done anything on the ground thus far. First down at the Green Bay 42. Williams over the top finds Bryant. He can do that too. And he is stopped at the 35-yard line, short of a first down by about 3. Noble and Murphy on the stop. And the Philadelphia Eagles rallied from way behind to beat the Dallas Cowboys in a big grudge match at Veterans Stadium, 24-23. The Giants rallied with 2 scores in the last minute to beat Atlanta in their game. So the Eagles are now 500 on the year, and the Giants go to 5-3. Second down and 3 at the 35. 2 tight ends and Ricky Sanders out left, the 1 wide receiver. Here's Bryant again. Penalty marker down. Bryant has a first down inside the 30s. Again, Brian Noble on the stop with help from Tim Harris. But this will be a hold against the Redskins, their second holding penalty of the game.
Doug Williams trying to give the referee a little lesson on how you call holding. Sorry, Doug, that's not going to work.
Holding. Number 73 on the offense. Still second down.
So the 2 guards, Rollie McKenzie and Mark May, each have been guilty of holding in this game.
Tell them about it, Mark. You know, just grab them a little bit. There's Mark May right here. check him out as he comes out. But the oh, that's not holding. That's a takedown. That's you grab him around the Adam's apple, you squeeze real hard, the guy falls down. That's not holding.
That was just, you're right. He didn't hold him. He just threw him to the ground. Mark May, who has played 3 positions already up front for the Redskins this year. 2nd and 13, Washington. Williams flips it off to Bryant. He's got May blocking. And Bryant is down at the 36-yard line by John Anderson. He has been a workhorse. Of course, the thing about Bryant is he has been kind of fragile up until this season. He has carried the ball a good deal and now on the receiving end.
We should see a great deal of Timmy Smith if the game progresses as it is right now. The Skins want to run the ball. They want to be patient with the ball on the ground. I doubt that Kelvin Bryant can carry it 30 times or have a combined a day of 30 carries and 30 catches.
3rd down and 3 for the Redskins. They're on the Packer 35 early here in the 2nd quarter. Williams has all the time in the world. He hits Art Monk, and his forward progress will be enough for a Redskin 1st down at the 31.5. Chuck Cecil and Johnny Holland make the stop. So Williams got all he really needed. Art Monk that time.
Well, Art's one of the best at finding that hole in that zone defense. The Packers will play a lot of zone today. Interesting, we talked with Doug Williams yesterday, and he said that, you know, he knows that the Green Bay Packers are going to play a lot of zone, but he would prefer that they come up and blitz him and give his receivers the one-on-one opportunities, the opportunities for the big plays down the field.
First time today, Timmy Smith is in on 1st down as Bryant gets a breather on the 31 of the Packers. And Smith picks up a couple. Alfonso Carricker. John Anderson there. Carricker is not 100%. He's had a knee injury. You don't hear much about that front 3 of Carricker, Winter, and Brown. Boyarski's on the injured reserve. You don't hear anything about the front line of the Packers.
Well, one way you get recognition is through sacks. Carricker does not have a sack yet this year. Blaze Winter has 1 sack at the nose tackle. Then your right end, Robert Brown, has only been credited with a half a sack. So to get a name in the NFL, you got to knock that quarterback down.
Jim Harris learned that. 2nd and 8 at the 29. Williams gets rushed, and his pass intended for McEwen is incomplete. Mark Murphy put the hit on a safety blitz that time. So that'll bring up a 3rd down and 8.
McEwen, the intended receiver.
I guess that's how the Packers have gotten so many interceptions. They have been able to get pressure on the quarterback, and because they sit back in their zone defenses so much, sometimes the quarterback will throw one high and they'll get picked off.
There's the extra back in the secondary. Tiger Green coming in along with Sean Patterson. So they go with a nickel back now and reinforcements at linebacker.
Well, Sean Patterson doesn't have any sacks either, Dick.
Bryan is back in there on 3rd down and 8 for the Redskins. Williams tipped, incomplete. Pass was intended for Kelvin Bryant, and it was Scott Stephen who had just entered the game in that nickel package who got a hand on the ball, and it'll be 4th down.
This is a big play because it sets up a very long field goal try for Lohmiller. There you see Stevens just getting his left hand up to knock the ball down. This is going to be about a 46-yarder, and he's also on a part of the field that is resodded. It's very difficult for him to plant here.
46 yards it is, and that has been the distance of his longest field goal this year. McEwen will hold. The kick, no good. It's off to the right. The look on the face of Joe Gibbs as a Redskin drive goes for naught, and the Packers will take over when we return to County Stadium. Well, these numbers, as we look at our game summary, could spell bad news for the Packers, with Bryan already with 89 yards and a great advantage in total offense for the Redskins. But the score is only 10-7 in favor of Washington. 10:38 to go in the second quarter. Lindy Infante said he needed the big play today, and that's kept him in the game.
He got 2 big plays on 1 drive. The pass interference call against Darrell Green, and then the long touchdown pass to Keith Woodside. That's what he needed. That's what he got. And he's in a ball game now.
I hope he warmed the donuts that he brought to his team on this rainy, chilly day. First down at the 29 for the Packers. Woodside. And Alvin Walton and Wilbur Marshall combined to make the stop. It was Walton on the shoe top tackle that prevented Woodside from getting more. Picked up a yard. It'll be 2nd down and 9.
Really outstanding pursuit by the Redskins that time. It looked like Woodside had a little bit of room, but Walton comes up, makes the play. Probably the best tackling strong safety in the NFL right now. Leads the Skins, as you can see, with tackles. Playing with some bad ribs as it is.
10 minutes remain in the first half of a 10-7 game. 2nd and 9. Mikowski, and wide open is West. Penalty marker down, and Ed West, the tight end, has a first down, but that appears to be a penalty against the Packers, and they'll nullify a 22-yard pass play that would have brought the Packers into Redskin territory. Redskins have been hit with 2 holding calls.
Holding, number 70 on the offense. Still 2nd down.
Earlier you showed how Keith Euchre kept Manley out, and you're not going to do that all day.
No, and I think he was working against Charles Mann this time, and Mann has already tasted his first bit of quarterback blood with a sack early in the first quarter. Here is Euchre on the right side. He's going to be holding against Charles Mann. Let's see his technique for holding. Now they call that the arm bar, and now you're supposed to let it go. But the problem is that the referee is standing right there. You can, if the defensive end comes into the offensive tackle and rips up, it's all right to put that arm bar out there. But once he reaches a certain point, you got to bring it back.
Richie Pettibone, the defensive coordinator, defensive head coach really for the Redskins. 2nd down, 19. Mikowski, quick release, and through the hands of Woodside, incomplete. That was the first penalty, by the way, on the part of Green Bay. Now you see Marcus Cook coming in up front. Kevin Williams comes in for extra defensive backs. Clarence Vaughn had replaced Neil Olkowitz on 2nd and passing down. Good speed in the secondary, and there's Marcus Cook in there, who has started virtually every game at one defensive end position or the other. 3rd and 19. Mikowski 1 for 7 thus far. Hardly Magic, that's his nickname. Under pressure, Mikowski has Perry Kemp. Another penalty marker down, and Kemp is down at the 39. But I think the Packers were holding again. Wilbur Marshall made the stop on Kemp, and they're going to bring that one back too.
Well, this is an interesting situation, though, Dick. If they refuse the penalty, it'll bring up 4th down and about 1. But if they take the penalty, now it'll bring up about a 4th down and about 25 or 20. They're going to take the penalty and push them back, hope to create a situation where they may get...
Number 75 on the offense. Still 3rd down.
Ken Rutgers, the left tackle.
They want this type of situation now where they can turn those guys loose up front and maybe sack Mikowski for a safety. These guys can really bring it, and it's very easy to call holding when you can see it as clearly as that, as Euchre just reached out with his right hand, or Rutgers rather, reached out with his right hand to keep Manley off the quarterback. But you can also see in that situation, or in that sequence, Mikowski's mobility in that pocket. Sooner or later, he's going to make a big play.
Well, a week ago, Raven Caldwell stormed in and nailed Lomax for a safety. Mikowski has a bit of breathing room. He's on his 10-yard line, but 3rd and 29. It looks like the Redskins are coming. And the handoff, and a good call to Woodside as he beat the pursuit and brought it out to the 18-yard line, and will give Bracken breathing room. Walton made the stop, and a good call there as 4th down comes up.
Well, they're having so much difficulty protecting the passer so far in the game that that is a good call, because they picked up enough yards to give the punter a little bit of a better position to punt from. The other thing on the field is here, the end zones are extremely wet. The tarp was drained into both end zones, so this gives Bracken at least a punting position where he's not standing in a pool of water.
He's inside his 5, and Derek Shepard is back for the Redskins. Primed to give the Redskins good field position. Kick will bounce in Packer territory and will die there as it is down. Let's see, they spotted at the 49 of Green Bay by Clint Didier. The kick went only 31 yards, and the Redskins will have the ball in great position. 1981, it happened to Lindy and Fonde this season. Lindy's Packers have won 2, and Joe Gibbs knows that once a club starts to believe in itself, they can be tough to stop. Witness the Redskins. Now, the Packers may not have the same talent as the Redskins, although back then they weren't as good as they are now. But Lindy may be on his way.
Well, the Packer players really believe in Lindy and Fonte.
He backed them when they were losing, and that stays with them. 1st and 10 Redskins on the Green Bay 49. Kelvin Bryant picks up 5 yards. Bryant Noble on the stop. Brian Davis has a sprained quad, and he is questionable. Davis, of course, playing in place of the injured Barry Wilbur. So the Redskins will be going deeper into the bench, and Dennis Woodbury will be the cornerback in that spot.
This type of sloppy field, there may be more pulled muscles today. The footing is absolutely atrocious, even though they had the field covered with a tarp earlier.
2nd down 5, Redskins on the 44. Once again, Bryant, and he got tripped up by Blaze Winter. And it was a good play by Winter. A loss on the play of about a yard will bring up 3rd down. In any event, Bryant has gone over 100 total yards for the 3rd straight game. Kelvin had 200 yards rushing and receiving against Dallas, 141 against Phoenix. And he's gone over 100 here, although Winter got him on that last play. Third down and 6 with just under 7 minutes to go in the first half. Redskins on the Packer 45. Williams tried to go to Don Warren out of the tight end position. Off his hand, John Anderson was covering on the play, and that'll bring up 4th down. Good defensive sequence for the Packers, a tough field position. 3 and out is what you want as a defensive football team. The Packers have been giving up a huge amount of yards all day today. They gave up a lot of yards on the very first carry to Bryant. They stuffed him on the 2nd, and then they make enough pressure on Williams on 3rd down, and now they got a punting situation. Outstanding job by the Packers that sequence. There's rookie Sterling Sharp from South Carolina. He was the #1 pick for the Packers, and Greg Coleman, the former Viking kicker, kicking for the Redskins. Fair catch called for by Sharp at the 15-yard line. They'll probably mark it at the 14, a punt of 31 yards for Greg Coleman, who told the Redskins that coming into County Stadium was like playing at RFK, that if the fans, especially in the closed end, really get into the game, it can be tough. Be a very loud stadium, and these Packer fans haven't had a whole lot to cheer about in the last few years. Win a couple of games in a row, have a big sellout crowd like this, they can't be a factor. But the field is really going to become a factor in this sequence of plays, because now they're operating at about the shortstop position, and that is a resodded area. It was only resodded 2 weeks ago. So it's not in great shape, and you can almost see where the infield is. First down at the 14. Makowski, Woodside, and Woodside carries it out after the reception to the 23. Wilbur Marshall making the stop for the Redskins. One thing all the coaches talk about when you ask them about Keith Woodside, they say, well, he's made for this offense. Well, what does that mean? Well, he's the type of guy that Lindy needs
to be a wide receiver and also be a ball carrier. You saw him that time working against Darrell Green, picked up a nice gain.
2nd and 2 at the 22. Larry Mason in the backfield with Woodside. They go to Woodside. He'll get the first down. Todd Bowles, the free safety, on the stop. When the Packers were successful the last 2 weeks, they did it mostly with plays on the ground. And trailing 10-7 and settling down now into the second quarter, Lindy and Fonte would like nothing more than to establish that kind of a game now.
And he's doing it in a handicapped situation. Fullwood is a little dinged up with an ankle, and of course Kenneth Davis is out. Woodside's really going to have to carry the load.
Larry Mason is the lone back, and Mikowski apparently calling an audible at the line. Sharp held onto it at the 29, gain of only 3. Dennis Woodbury was right there to make sure he didn't get up. Now, I don't know if I didn't see a penalty marker thrown. Dexter Manley is right in the middle of that conference with the officials.
I still don't see a flag. That's the phantom flag down there somewhere.
Lined up in the neutral zone, number 72 on the defense, offside, still first down.
Well, it was Manley, but I still don't know where they dropped the yellow marker.
Now we can see him lined up, but from this angle it's hard to tell. We'll just take the ref's word for it. The Packers get a gift there.
And that'll be a first down for the Packers. 1st and 5 at the 31. Epps and Sharp are the wide receivers. There was definite movement that time as Charles Mann stops Woodside. Dave Bucks might have jumped on that occasion. And the Packers may pick up a first down just on virtue of a couple of penalties.
This is the one thing that Mikowski did very well last week.
Offside, number 65 on the defense, first down.
Against the Vikings last week, the Mikowski used his cadence really to his advantage by drawing the defensive line off sides. You won't see Butts go off sides very often. He's lined up close to that ball, and he'll be the first to tell you that that's a terrible mistake. He can see the ball move, and that's when he should move. Shouldn't be paying any attention to the quarterback's cadence.
So 4.5 minutes remain in the first half. Packers with a first down on their 36. Trailing the Redskins 10-7. Here's Larry Mason with his first carry. Finds open field ahead of him. He'll get the first down and rides Walton out of bounds close to midfield. A gain of 13 for Mason. Picking up the slack with Davis out of action and Fullwood not 100% today.
Good job by the offensive line as they get the corner right now. Manley is pinned inside, and Mason just uses his speed to elude him to the outside. Now Mason's going to reach into his book of moves and use them all as he gets the first down. Seemed like it would take him forever to get to that out of bounds.
That book has only 9 pages. First down at the Packer 49. Mikowski going up top for Woodside. And again, he overthrows Woodside, incomplete. Wilbur Marshall downfield covering. And had that pass been on the mark, Woodside would have been long gone.
You got a young quarterback by the name of Mikowski, just signed a big fat new contract the other day. He's pumped up. He's playing against the world champs. And all that is just being a little bit too fired up, a little bit too much adrenaline.
I'll tell you one thing, though, despite the incompletion, Dan, and you've been in this, I'm sure his confidence level is rising as the team stays close.
He made the good read then. He saw that Woodside was isolated against Marshall. That's where he wants to go with the ball. A little bit shorter, we had 6 points.
2nd and 10 at the 29. Marshall put the charge on Mikowski, and the pass to Woodside is incomplete. So despite the fact that Woodside doesn't have pretty numbers, he's 2 for 10, 57 yards. Although he does have a touchdown pass, the Packers are very much in this, trailing 10-7.
Marshall showed us why he's such a great linebacker. He can drop back and cover running backs out of the backfield, but he would prefer to put pressure on that quarterback. That time he forced Mikowski to throw the ball sooner than he wanted to, and therefore he was off the mark.
3rd down and 10. Of course, the one man that Richie Pettibone was worried about was Phillip Epps, the wide receiver. They'd gone to him once, and he was interfered with by Darrell Green, who shadows him. Mikowski will run and will slide on the grass, and Moles was there anyway, and will be stopped at the 45-yard line, and that will bring up 4th down. So the Redskin defense holds, and Don Bracken will come in to kick.
Really got to question that call. 3rd and 10 on a quarterback draw. Not many quarterbacks are going to find 10 yards for you, especially after you've run the play earlier in the game. The Skins were burned by Mikowski's long run earlier, and now they're not going to be fooled twice.
Bracken will kick. You saw Derek Shepard go back for the Redskins. They want to kick it away from Shepard, but Shepard has it at the 8. The official fell down. Shepard didn't, and he is brought down himself at the 21-yard line by Ron Pitts. So the Redskins, who scored the first 10 points, lead by 3, will have it when we come back to Milwaukee. Go in the first half. Doug Williams has Gary Clark, and Clark is hit immediately by David Brown, and Tim Harris also in on the play. Next Sunday, CBS Sports kicks off the second half of the NFL season with doubleheader action. Game 1 features an interconference matchup between the Chicago Bears and the New England Patriots. You'll see Phoenix against Dallas, Rams against New Orleans in a big NFC West battle. These Packers go against Buffalo. Second game of the doubleheader, Minnesota against San Francisco. It all begins with the NFL Today next Sunday on CBS Sports, 12:30 Eastern. 2nd down, 3. Again Williams, again Clark, and he held on for the first down at the 35. So Clark catches 2 passes in a row on identical calls, and the Redskins keep it going with 3 minutes to go.
Part of the patience of the Redskins' attack today is to just take the short things. The Packers will play a very soft zone. Dave Brown has been around for about 14 years, has a whole bunch of interceptions, but he's not the type of guy that's going to play man-to-man. He's going to sit back in that zone, read the quarterback, and break on the ball.
Realistically, the Redskins didn't expect that many big plays against the Packers zone today, like they've been getting. First down on the Washington 35. Williams went for Clark, who skied for that one but couldn't hold on to it. He was open.
Well, we talked earlier about the ad-lib situation that a quarterback will face. Well, Williams is looking to his left now, wants to throw the screen, and now he has to come to his secondary receiver, and that's just a lack of practice. That's a lack of playing time, throwing the ball just a little bit behind. But this is something that Williams has to overcome, and the only way to overcome it is by just playing the game.
There's the quarterback comparison. Williams with a big edge, but the scoreboard shows the Redskins with only a 3-point lead. 2nd down on the 35 of Washington. Williams overthrew everybody, and Mark Lee tried to dive for the interception. That wasn't near anyone, and that'll bring up 3rd down.
Well, Doug saw the zone, and he wanted his receiver to sit out a little bit wider, and I think he threw the ball away, seeing that the receiver had come in too far on his curl pattern and it wasn't open.
Why have the Packers picked up off so many balls this year? Because people are trying to challenge that zone?
Well, yeah. I mean, the one thing you get impatient sometimes on offense. You think that, hey, listen, we haven't thrown the ball deep for a while. We got to get the ball down the field, but they're not going to give it to you. You're going to have to be patient against them. Take what they give you. You know, it's the old zone defense concept.
Normally the Redskins are patient, and they have been today. 3rd and 10. Williams gets a lot of time, drills it to Monk, and a tipped away with a fine play by Mark Murphy. Mark Lee defending on the play as well, and that was as good a combination coverage as you'll see.
Well, this is why you can't throw deep against zones. Here Lee is underneath short. Murphy comes over to help out. Lee gets that right hand on the ball. Very difficult to throw a ball this far down the field against anybody's zone defense, and especially against a team that's as good at playing zone as the Packers are.
It was Lee who tipped the ball. Murphy made the hit. In any event, it's 4th down, and Greg Coleman will be kicking. Sterling Sharp goes back for the Packers with 2:20 remaining in the half.
And again, it's 3 and out for the Packers, or for the Skins. The Packers are going to get the ball with their best field position.
Sharp at the 30. And the rookie wide receiver gives the Packers exactly that. Good field position at the 43-yard line following the 36-yard kick. Coleman got hit, but no flag was thrown.
Well, Red Cashin just told the crowd that he got blocked in. He was blocked. The man right there, Tim Harris, was blocked into him. Looked like Harris was also trying to avoid the hit. Smart play by Harris. Could have gone either way, though, maybe.
Terry Orr blocked Harris into him. So with 2:10 to go, and the Packers, as well as the Redskins, have all 3 of their timeouts remaining, we'll try to get at least a tie here before intermission.
Well, they got the wind at their backs. They need about 35 yards to be in field goal position for Zendejas.
Their best starting spot, and they open with 4 wide receivers on first down at the 43. Makowski completes the pass to Phillip Epps, just short of a first down. Olkowitz on the stop, and now we'll have our 2-minute warning. So this should be a pleasant conversation with Lindy and Fonnie. 2nd and short. It is a light rain here in Milwaukee. It's our 2-minute warning with the Redskins leading the Packers 10-7. We want to remind you that next Saturday on CBS Sports, Joe Paterno's Penn State Nittany Lions make the short run down to Morgantown to face the West Virginia Mountaineers. 6th-ranked West Virginia is unbeaten at 7-0, and Saturday could spur the Mountaineers onto their first ever perfect season in a possible major bowl bid. It's Penn State and West Virginia next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern on CBS Sports.
2nd and 2.
2nd down and 2 with 2 minutes to go in the first half for the Packers on the Redskin 49. Again, 4 wideouts. And Mason is stopped at midfield and lost a yard. That'll bring up 3rd and 3 for the Packers as Wilbur Marshall and Alvin Walton just closed the hole. Now the Packers call a timeout, Dan.
Well, the thinking behind the running play there is to get the first down and you know, move the chains down the field. But what happens here, I would rather throw the ball in that situation. You only, you know, it's a short pass to pick up that first down. Plus, if it's incomplete, you're still sitting in 3rd and short, and you haven't used a timeout. The Packers now have used 2 timeouts. They want to save that last timeout for a possible field goal try. So they've only used actually just 1 timeout. The 2-minute warning was the other stoppage of the clock.
But you're right. They have 3rd down, and now with 3rd down and you know, 3 yards to go, they may not be able to run the ball. Want to remind you, coming up at halftime, Brent Erb and Dick Butkus with all the scores and highlights. There's the timeout story. The Packers have 2 left and Washington 3. And Leslie Visser visited with Walter Payton this week and found even without football, he's still a man in motion. That's coming up at halftime. 3rd and 2, the Packers have converted only 1 of 5 3rd down conversions thus far. It looked awfully good for them when they started this drive and stalled. And it's a long 2. Makowski getting pressure. Incomplete. That'll bring up 4th down. Dexter Manley put a great rush on Makowski. Sterling Sharp was the intended receiver. Dennis Woodbury covering. So now the Redskins with 1:48. They have all 3 of their timeouts remaining as they get the ball back. Bracken will kick it.
You got to feel that the Redskins dodged the bullet there. The short punt, the good field position by the Packers. They were only able to move the ball 7 yards when it looked like they had momentum going for themselves and were going to be able to get down at least into field goal position.
Bracken's punt could be very important for him right here. If he can pin the Redskins in. Shepard at the 9. Penalty marker down, and Shepard is brought down with a hard tackle at the 31-yard line. But there's a flag down at around the 10. Mark Murphy made the stop. Red Cashin will explain the flag. And it's what you might expect, illegal block against Washington.
That was a good punt by Bracken and an excellent return by Shepard.
Illegal block during the run back, number 54, the receiver, half the distance to the goal. First down at 10.
Kurt Gouveia spoiled a decent run back by Shepard, so with half the distance marked out, here it is.
Number 54 on the left side of the screen here is going to push this man right in the back, and that allows Shepard the hole. John Dorsey is the guy that got punched in the back there. Kurt Gouveia, the guilty party.
So now the Redskins will start from their 7-yard line.
And you can see the Packer players on the defense trying to get this crowd involved, trying to give Doug Williams a difficult time calling the cadence.
The Redskins got away from their rushing game. They rushed it 11 times in the first quarter, only 4 runs in the second as they went to the air more. Let's see what happens here.
They've really hit a flat spot with their offense.
Kelvin Bryant chased by Murphy and run out of bounds. Pickup of about 3 yards that time. And with 1:31 to go, you wonder the wisdom of Bryant going out of bounds if he had a choice.
Well, that's it. I don't think he had the choice, but what it does, it really does favor the Packers. The Redskins, by that call, kind of told me that they don't really want to throw the ball. They don't want to chance the interception in this part of the field. They're looking to run the clock out.
Especially since Williams has not appeared sharp passing-wise the last couple of series. 2nd and 7 on the Redskin 10. He'll put it up here in a short pass, and hit hard out of the backfield is Bryant. Brian Noble making the stop, and that was a hard hit on Kelvin. And now the Packers, sensing an opportunity to get the ball back, have called their second timeout. They have 1 left. And the Redskins and Doug Williams will be facing a 3rd and 3.
And look how far Doug Williams has to go right now to speak with his coaches. This ballpark here at County Stadium is the only stadium in the NFL that has the benches on both sides of the field. And we'll draw it up for you. The Packers and Redskins are way down here. Williams is talking to his coaches right here. He's got, you know, there's a whole bunch of steps he's got to take there. Here's Doug Williams right here, coming back to the huddle, and that's about a 50-yard little jog for him. I know his condition is fine, that this is no big deal, but I know one thing, he doesn't want to have to do it too many more times.
And Dan, that could be a problem with teams when the clock is going, when that 40-second clock is moving, and you're sending in plays, as Lindy and Fonnie does with the Packers, all the way across the field. 1:23 remaining in the first half. It'll be 3rd down and 3. Brent Erb and Dick Butkus with scores and highlights. And a look at Walter Payton, the retired Walter Payton, coming up. Ball on the 14 of Washington. Williams has time. Art Monk, and it's nearly intercepted by Harris as the ball bounced off of Monk. The Packers defense all over him, and that'll bring up 4th down with 1:17 on the clock.
Well, Tim Harris has got to be terribly disappointed in himself. He'll never get a better opportunity to intercept a pass than this one. Here you see Art Monk trying to make a move there. The ball is well thrown. He just takes his eyes off it. The ball pops up. Harris is right there, but I got to believe that maybe Art Monk must have reached in and grabbed his hand to prevent the interception.
And Harris had help from Brian Noble, who was right around Monk. So Williams completing only 1 of his last 5. The Packers send Sterling Sharp back, and Coleman will punt from inside his 5-yard line. Green Bay has 1 timeout left.
Well, we got a delay of game call.
And the question would be why and how.
Well, this is just a mix-up. The man calling the signals is the personal protector. He's got to be able to see where that 45-second clock is. You cannot allow this to happen on 4th down deep in your own field.
Joe Gibbs wanted a 5-3 record after the second loss to the Giants. He got 2 of those wins, needs a win over the Packers to reach 5-3. and would tie the Giants for the lead in the division. Phoenix is playing Cleveland now in a game underway. Now Coleman will kick from the end zone. Sharp trying to give the Packers a good starting point. Coleman and the penalty marker down, and they let it roll, and this call may go against Green Bay, and Coleman is limping now, and here is Tiger Green, and that is one of the, no penalties are good, one of the worst time penalties I've seen in years.
Well, and it was a miserable punt by Coleman too, but Green comes from the left side there. There's no doubt about that. He roughed him.
And that's why some teams are 2-5 and other teams are winning teams.
Well, you know, on the penalty on the play before, Green came in free and was in tremendous position to block the punt. He probably felt, hey, listen, I'm going to get the next one, and he was just a little bit overzealous. The question is now, is this a 5-yard penalty or is it a 15-yard penalty? If it's a 5-yard penalty, it's not an automatic first down. The Skins will still have to punt.
Running into the kicker, number 23 on the defense. It would not be a first down. The penalty is declined. First down at 10.
But still, it was an unfortunate penalty because if you're coming in like Tiger Green, you don't know whether it's going to be running in or roughing.
Well, and you got to wonder why they refused the penalty. Maybe it's because Coleman's ankle is sore from getting roughed like that. He came up limping. And now I see Coleman's out there arguing with the referee that, hey, they don't want to refuse it. They want to punt it again. Or maybe he's arguing, hey, listen, pal, that was really a 15-yard penalty instead of a 5-yard. And if that had been the case, it would have been an obvious first down.
Well, the Packers have the first down with 1:08 to go. That was a 34-yard punt helped by the roll. And the Packers...
And I still don't understand why the Skins didn't accept the penalty to bring up fourth down and then kick it again. This is great field position for the Pack.
They're on the Redskin 44. 4 wide receivers. Mason, the running back. Makowski going deep for Epps, and the pass is incomplete. And no interception as Darrell Green caught the ball, but he was out of bounds when he made the catch.
Oh, and it was a great catch, too. Looked a lot like Art Monk last week when he caught that great touchdown pass. But look at that, full extension. That's an interception. He was in bounds when he came down. The only thing I can figure is that the ball must have touched the out-of-bounds line. Of course, the referee standing right there had a great view of it. Take one more look at it. Makowski going deep to Epps, and Green is there. Yeah, oh, that's awful close. He must have come right down on the out-of-bounds line.
Now we may be taking another look at it. They're going to review it upstairs. Grover Clemmer is the replay official today. Joe Sullivan, the communicator. So you may have a point.
Well, one thing they're going to do up here is with their tape machines, they'll slow this picture down frame by frame and see exactly what hits first. If it's the ball on the line, then it's an incompletion. But if they think that maybe his knees come down first, then it's an interception. There's one knee. I got to believe that's an interception.
It would appear that way. And we'll wait for the replay. And keep in mind, the key thing here is it conclusive to reverse the call. It was inconclusive, so
I just like to see great catches, you know. I don't care if it's conclusive or not. I thought that was a great catch. And but the ruling is that the ball was out of bounds, obviously.
Did you like to see great catches by the defensive backs when you threw the ball? I bet not. 2nd and 10 at the 44.
It doesn't matter anymore.
Paul Otkaruth in the lineup for the first time. Makowski, pass is incomplete, and out of bounds was Patrick Scott. Patrick Scott, Burl Toller was right there, and he did not have possession. So Scott is upset. Here's the play again.
Well, that's a ruling, and we're going to get another look at it. There's possession. There's his feet are in bounds. Looks like I'm going to be 0 for 2 here today. I think that's the catch.
Yeah, I don't know if he did, though. The one thing this replay won't show you is if he did have the ball or whether he was still juggling going out of bounds.
Well, especially in slow motion, because you can't see the actual jostling of the ball in the receiver's hands.
Lindy Infante is beside himself, and he's beside his coaching staff as well, I might add. So it'll be 3rd and 10 at the 44 of Washington with 56 seconds remaining. 10-7 the Redskins. Low snap that time. Makowski in trouble. And he throws it away, and intentional grounding will be the call, and a Redskin is shaken up. See if that's Manley. No, yes. Dexter Manley, slow getting up.
Intentional grounding, number 7, foot down.
That was loss of down. I don't think that pass was aimed at throwing to a receiver.
I don't. If he completes this, then I believe that his nickname is really Magic. That's an unbelievable throw. Who's he kidding anyway? What really hurts, though, in this situation, this isn't a 10-yard or a 5-yard or a 15-yard penalty. The penalty is marked at the point of the foul. So now this becomes almost a 25-yard penalty.
And a loss of down. Loss of 19 yards. So Don Bracken will kick it for the 6th time today. And Derek Shepard going back for the Redskins. 48 seconds to go in the first half.
This has been a heck of a 2-minute drill.
Yeah, a weird 2-minute drill. Penalty marker down.
Naturally.
Fumble, another flag down. He muffed it, and the Packers recovered. But now let's see what the flags are all about.
There's a flag on the play.
Derek Shepard muffed the ball. Not a fumble since he never had possession. And Chuck Cecil recovered it. Now the penalties. There were 2 flags thrown. One might have been an offside. Or an ineligible receiver. He'll sort it out.
Well, I'm glad I don't have to sort it out. I've been 0 for 2 the last couple.
You'll get back into it, don't worry.
I don't really care about the referees right now. They're in complete control, and I know that one situation here is we may have offsetting penalties.
Joe Gibbs anxious. This could be a big call coming up here because the Packers recovered. We're not going to worry about the signals, although Makowski's coming on, so I think Green Bay will have it.
We've got an illegal block by the receivers. We have holding by the receivers. Both of them with the flag. First down.
Chuck Cecil recovered. Here it is.
Boy, he just took his eyes off it at the last second, and the Packers were right on it. There's that ball hawker, Chuck Cecil. He got up, too, and was thinking about getting in that end zone. Big mistake there for Derek Shepard. That's just a case of a guy trying very, very hard, but you got to concentrate, make that catch first before you try to run with the ball.
That's the first turnover of the game, and that's a pretty good number considering the bad weather we've had with the light rain and the wind and the turf being wet. There's the time remaining. First down, Packers on the Redskin 19. Green Bay has 1 timeout left. Makowski has Sharp. Sharp is down at the 16, picked up 3 yards. Alvin Walton on the stop. The clock continues to run. Less than a half a minute. They're already in field goal range for Max Zendejas, who could be an iffy possibility in field goal attempt. Makowski overthrows Mason. That might have been tough with Woodbury coming up. That might have been a nightmare situation, but it's incomplete. 3rd and 7 for the Packers.
Now, Makowski's really struggling right now. He's showing his inexperience going up against an outstanding defense like the Redskins. It's very important for him at this point of the game not to throw an interception. Like you said, they are in field goal position. Infante wants timeout, and he'll get it.
And that is the 3rd timeout called by the Packers. They are out of timeouts with 14 seconds to go with 3rd and 7. So this is important down, and Lindy didn't want to take any more chances.
Well, that's the main thing. He wants to be sure of this call. Maybe he wants to go for the field goal right now. I see Zendejas coming out. Infante's really not that confident at this point in Makowski's ability to complete this pass for a first down.
Interesting story with Max Zendejas. He spent 9 games with the Redskins. 2 years ago, he missed 2 field goals and a point after in a tough loss to Denver. And a lot of the players weren't exactly on his side at the time, Dan.
Well, the one thing, it's not easy being a field goal kicker because you're really not a football player. You are the specialist. That's all you do is kick field goals. And sometimes the guys that are in there getting muddy and bloody out there on the field resent the fact that it may come down to a guy that is a non-contact type of player. And if he doesn't make good on his try, then they're going to resent it.
Of course, they said that they accused him of falling asleep in the locker room and a lot of things. And Max Zendejas said, I want to kick the winning field goal against them. He's got a chance to tie it with a 34-yard attempt here. Bracken holding. And the kick is up. It's good. So a measure of revenge, at least right now, for Max Zendejas. His 34-yard field goal has tied the game 10-10 with 10 seconds remaining in the first half, in a game in which the Redskins led 10-0 early in the first quarter.
You know, Infante would have been second-guessed if this field goal is missed. Going forward on 3rd down and not 4th down, he's got to be the second happiest man out on the field, second behind Zendejas.
Well, they're doing it with mirrors and maybe some pretty strong defense. You can't take anything away from what Green Bay has done to thwart Washington's attack the last 3 times they've had the ball.
And it's really hard to imagine that that they could stop them, especially with the way that Bryant has been cracking that off that line of scrimmage and getting into the secondary. He's had an outstanding first half, but the last 2 possessions for the Redskins, they've gone absolutely nowhere. In fact, they've gone away from the run. They've been stuffed on 1st and 2nd down and been forced to throw the ball. And the Packers secondary isn't that bad. I mean, they have 14 pass interceptions this year. They're showing that they can play a zone defense.
Sailing. Zendejas, I think, wanted to get it into the end zone, obviously, and Shepard on the goal line is stopped with 4 seconds on the clock. So the Redskins have time for one more play. Ron Pitts made the stop.
You really feel the momentum has swung all the way over to the Packers side of the field. This was Gibbs' worst nightmare coming into this game, is giving the Packers the feeling that they can play with the Skins and beat them. Right now, that you got to feel awful good if you're a Packer fan. You've shown that for at least 30 minutes of the game, you can play the world champs even.
4 seconds to go. The Redskins have gained only 25 yards on their last 4 possessions. And they're not going to take any chances. They'll go into the dressing room with a tie. So the Packer crowd in the game. They've come from 10-0 down to tie it up. And the Redskins have a tough 30 minutes ahead of them. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Redskins 10 and the Packers 10.
Well, he's tried to force the ball in areas where you just can't do it against the Packers zone defense.
Zendejas with a short kick. It goes past Keith Griffin and Derek Shepard inside the 5. Doesn't get to the 15. Tiger Green on the stop. Shows you how the Redskins were effective, particularly on the ground early. And in the last 4 possessions, they haven't gained anything.
Well, the one thing it tells me is that the Packers, they were getting ripped up front. We talked about how nobody knows who their front 3 are or their linebackers, and they've only got one big play player. But it shows me that the Packers, we're NFL ball players too. You may be the champs, but you got to beat us here today in Milwaukee.
3 wide receivers and Kelvin Bryant on the 13-yard line. First down. Here's Bryant. Bryant for 3 yards. Robert Brown making the stop.
Very important for the Skins to get out and get a first down, to get back into the rhythm of their offense, the way they started the game. Of course, they started it fantastically. They can't expect that type of result, but it's very important that they get at least a first down, get into better field position.
Bryant's first 100-yard effort was against the Cowboys, 118. He's reached the century mark again. 2nd down and 7 at the 16. Let's see whether Jim Lachey drew the Packers off sides, and apparently he did.
Number 79 on the offense.
This is a very easy call to make. Watch Jim Lachey. He'll just lose his balance in his stance, fall forward, and that's enough to draw the offsides penalty.
So they'll place the ball back on the 11-yard line. 2nd down and 12. That was the 8th penalty of the game for the Redskins.
2nd and 12.
And that's really uncharacteristic for the Skins to have 8 penalties at this point of the game.
Williams inside his 5 has Don Warren. And Warren is dropped by Johnny Holland. A fumble, loose ball, and the Packers, they have recovered inside the 10. The Packers recover as Don Warren fumbles it. Brian Noble made the recovery after Johnny Holland made the hit.
Well, are they doing it with mirrors or with hard hits? Johnny Holland just rips Donnie Warren as he comes across the middle, causing this fumble. And then they're very opportunistic. They got their heads up. They see where that ball is, and they're going to get after it. This is like at the county fair, the greased pig contest.
I like the Canadian honker better, but this is a second place thing. And an injured player, Don Warren, is shaken up. He's one of the most important men in the entire offensive scheme for the Redskins. They can't afford to lose him.
Difference that I've seen so far this year with the Redskins is the turnover ratio. They are now at -5 on the season, and here it is, the midpoint.
1st and goal at the 8 for the Packers. Their last 3 possessions have started in Washington territory. Makowski. And incomplete. Ed West. Pass was just too low, and that'll bring up 2nd down, and Makowski looks like he felt the Redskin fury.
Well, Richie Pettibone said he wanted to knock the young quarterback down as often as possible, and the more times you're knocked down as a quarterback, it really affects your touch on the ball. That time he had Ed West wide open across the middle, and he tried to guide the ball into West instead of just firing the ball.
There's Richie Pettibone, who knows what to do with young quarterbacks. Marcus Cook was the guy who stormed in. It'll be 2nd down and goal on the 8-yard line. Packers trying to take advantage of a big turnover opportunity early here in the 3rd quarter. And Makowski doesn't like what he sees and will call a timeout.
And he'll have a chat with Keith Woodside. Some type of mix-up as far as where Makowski wanted Woodside to line up. At the last minute, Woodside realized, hey, I'm supposed to be outside. He went in motion, and smart play by Makowski. He's got good field position now. He doesn't want to have anything go wrong to maybe create a turnover or a loss that would take him out of the field goal position.
The Redskins are using Marcus Cook instead of Dexter Manley at right defensive end. There you're looking at Green Bay's first half possessions. They kicked most of the time, but that field goal by Zendejas, a 34-yarder, earned them a tie. They have hung in, and their field position wasn't that good until the end, their last 3 possessions, actually, of the first half.
You know, the MVP of this ball game for the Packers, if the Pack wins, will get the use of a Cadillac for a whole year. Right now, I'd have to give it to Don Bracken as the punter. At least he's playing more than anybody else.
2nd and goal on the 8.
It's not a good sign when your punter's MVP.
Sharp goes in motion. Fullwood is the lone running back. Makowski fires, touchdown. Woodside, his 2nd score of the game. Started with the fumble recovery. Now this.
They call him magic, and this is really a little bit of voodoo here. How does he get out of this trap in the backfield? Great ability to escape, and a fine throw, drilling it into the end zone to Woodside.
Zendejas on the kick, the point after. Bracken holding. Kick is good, and the Packers lead for the first time today, 17-10. At one time, they trailed 10-0. First time the Packers have taken the lead against the Redskins, 17-10, and they have taken advantage of 2 turnovers, a punt and a fumble by Don Warren. They got their last 10 points as a result of that, and it's 17-10 is Zendejas. Kicking off to Derek Shepard. The ball goes to the short man. Griffin has trouble with it, and Keith Griffin, looking for room, finally steps his way out to the 23-yard line.
Let's take a look at that touchdown again. This is Sterling Sharp going in motion, and here's Woodside outside here. He's going to get a pick from Philip Epps, and then he's going to run his route, find his way through traffic, and then make the catch. Makowski buys a little bit of time, rolls out to the right, and this is just a beautiful throw. 6 points for the Pack.
And for Woodside, his second touchdown reception of the game. Just a rookie out of Texas A&M, but Lindy Infante's kind of fullback. 1st and 10 on the 23. Two tight ends with Ricky Sanders and Bryant. Now Monk goes in motion. And Monk can't hold on. The pass was behind him. David Brown covering.
Start to feel a little frustration now starting to build on the Redskins side of the ball. Williams has been off the mark a little bit. 3 or 4 passes now that he hasn't thrown like we're used to seeing him complete. And the Redskins know that the Packers are feeling awful good about themselves, and they're in for a tough afternoon the rest of the day.
Don Warren has a mild concussion. The word is he may not be back in the game. 2nd down and 10 at the 23. Williams over the middle, and the pass caught by Kelvin Bryant. Noble makes the stop, and it's 1st down yardage for the Redskins. This is what's happened to the Redskins today. A couple of holding penalties hurt them early. They've had several drop passes. Lohmiller missed the field goal from 46 yards out after giving the Skins a 3-0 lead, and most damaging, the 2 turnovers. 1st down for Washington on the 34 with 12:40 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts here at County Stadium. They're checking the 30-second clock, I believe. Veteran referee Red Cashin keeping around the watch.
I see that 30-second clock is all part of the home field advantage. Somebody in a green and yellow sweater is working it, I guarantee you that.
Williams completes the pass to Gary Clark. Another 1st down for the Redskins, just over midfield into Packer territory. That's a 16-yard pickup to Gary Clark.
This was close to going for a lot more yardage because Mark Lee slips down on this ball, and Gary Clark slipped by and almost got down the field. There goes Lee down, just gets up in time to push Clark out of bounds, or that would have been disastrous.
Sanders came in as the leading receiver on the year for the Redskins, but he has caught just 1 pass today. Redskins have been successful in moving the ball around to a lot of receivers. They have a 1st down on the Packer 49. Bryant may have lost a yard. Alfonso Carricker plugged the hole, and that'll bring up 2nd down. With Don Warren on the sidelines, Joe Caravello has replaced him at tight end, and in that position the Redskins have only 2 there today because Anthony Jones was one of the 2 inactive players.
And Caravello is the blocking tight end, very much like Donnie Warren is. The Skins use a number of tight ends. Craig McEwen and Terry Orr are the downfield type of tight ends.
2nd down, 11 at midfield. Williams, who's got Clark, and Gary Clark trying to find 1st down yardage, may have it just inside the 40. Brian Noble on the stop. It may be very close to the 1st down. Cleveland is leading Phoenix 17-14. Remember, the Cardinals, Giants, and Redskins were all locked in a 1st place tie in the NFC East coming into the game. The Giants rallied to beat Atlanta.
This is really the great thing about having a veteran quarterback out there. Doug Williams, he can sense the feeling that's going on out there. He knows that his team is struggling a little bit. The real thing, though, that he's doing now is he's getting his rhythm. He's taking what the Packers give him, the short passes on the perimeter. He went to his money man, Kelvin Bryant, over the middle on first down earlier. He's doing the things you have to do to get the rhythm going back for your offense.
And one thing is evident, Dan, just what...
76.
Ed Simmons.
Ed Simmons is in at tight end now in the short yardage situation.
That's because the Redskins had only 2 in that position with Jones out. 3rd down and 1 in the 40. I was going to say they don't have the big play today because of that kind of defense. So they got to rely on that short stuff.
You bet.
Here's Timmy Smith. He's got the first down as he bangs heads with Johnny Hollis. And a first down to the Packer 37-yard line. And the Redskins with Timmy Smith, who had lost his starting role to Kelvin Bryant, and of course trying to get it back with the ball control attack. And the Redskins are marching.
He's going to be a good 3rd down runner for them. He's a very determined runner. He runs well in the small holes. He's very strong, good leg drive, and he makes that short yardage play.
They're on the 36 of the Packers. Bryant back in there. Here's Bryant. And Bryant gets to the 30. Holland drops him there. So now Doug Williams in rhythm right now. And Williams said, he says, I'm not going to have the numbers that Mark Rippon did. Rippon threw 12 touchdown passes in the 4 wins and really had a tremendous performance. He says, but the idea is to win games. You'll always see Rippon with the better numbers than Williams, but Williams may get you the same amount of victories.
He's a great competitor. What a great show he put on in San Diego in the Super Bowl. I'll never forget it.
A classic. 2nd down and 3 at the Packer 29. Kelvin Bryant, he's got the yardage, and another Redskin first down. This is Joe Gibbs' kind of offense. John Anderson on the stop. They're using up the clock and trying to drive for a tying score.
This is just man-on-man blocking. As you see the slip blocks, they just kind of come out and reach for the defensive end, the defensive tackle. The advantage that the Skins have is the size of their offensive linemen. They're so much bigger than the front 7 of the Packers.
Winding down to 9 minutes to go in the 3rd quarter. First down on the Green Bay 23. 17-10 Packers. They go to Bryant again. And Bryant dives inside the 20. Brian Noble that time. Kelvin Bryant with 109 yards and 17 carries today. That'll bring up 2nd down. Minnesota comes back with a vengeance against Tampa Bay. 2nd down, 6 for the Redskins. They've used up just about 5 minutes on this drive. McEwen cradles the ball to protect it. Let's see if he has the first down. And he does. Another first down for the Redskins. Mark Murphy on the stop as we get close to 8 minutes to go, and the Redskins trailing 17-10, going back to what is really the basic football they started the game.
Now they've been challenged by the Packers so far in this 3rd quarter. The Packers got the lead. What they're doing now is they're reaching down in the old gut bucket, and they're coming up with the right calls.
And coming into the ball game is number 68 Blaze Winter at nose tackle. Williams has hit his last 5 passes. First down on the 12. Bryant, and it looked as though Tim Harris was trying to strip the ball from Kelvin Bryant, who gets inside the 10.
Kelvin Bryant has really changed the look of this offense for the Skins. They are no longer a stereotype team where they're very unpredictable now on first down. He gives them a tremendous run-pass option, and he's got the talent to really break a big one.
2nd and goal at the 6. 2nd and 6, that is at the 8-yard line. Stand corrected there, and a whistle and a penalty marker down.
False start. Number 66 on the offense. He'll stick it down.
That's Joe Jacoby, who has played the whole way with a sore knee. He had to come out of last week's game, replaced by Simmons, who then went out, and then May.
Oh, we'll see. Joe is second one in here on the left. There's a little flinch. That's all it takes for Robert Brown to come across the line. But again, this is what the Packers have seen to, you know, they're blessed with lady luck here. The Skins are just moving right on down the field. Now they get a penalty. Doesn't seem like a big one, but it changes the personality of the Packers.
This drive has gone over 6.5 minutes. This is the 12th play. 2nd and 11 at the 13. Williams nearly intercepted by Tiger Green, or make it Mark Lee. Lee nearly picked it off. And basically, the Packers did one whale of a job in covering the Redskin receivers.
They really did. They didn't get any pressure, though, on Williams. He had all day to find a receiver. Unfortunately for the Skins, he picked out the wrong guy. Mark Lee makes a great break on this ball and really should have picked it off. The one good thing that Williams did there, though, is he threw a low ball. Very tough for the defender to make that grab if he is in position to make it.
Tim Harris wants that crowd to be louder. 3rd and 11. Williams. Bryant, touchdown with a sensational catch. Kelvin Bryant with Mark Murphy on his back, and the Redskins are within a point of tying this game. 13-yard touchdown pass to Kelvin Bryant on a hard throw, and a great, truly great catch.
Couldn't say it better myself, Dick. This is an outstanding grab. Watch how he reaches behind, grabs the ball with his hands, pulls it away from Murphy, and falls into the end zone for the 6th. That is just wonderful.
What did Joe Gibbs say? I don't know if I've seen anyone better than Kelvin Bryant with all the things he can do.
Well, that's further evidence right there.
Lohmiller ties the game. 6 minutes and 26 seconds remain in the 3rd quarter. A classic drive by the Redskins, capped by this touchdown pass, Doug Williams to Kelvin Bryant. 13 plays. Kelvin Bryant, who accounted for 44 yards of those 77 with a touchdown reception. Now Chip Lohmiller kicking off. Woodside and Fullwood are back, and it's going to be Woodside at the 10. Woodside turns the corner, and Woodside with a great return out of bounds by Jamie Morris. A 27-yard return by Keith Woodside. Next Saturday, the college football season continues on CBS Sports. Undefeated West Virginia plays host to the Nittany Lions of Penn State.
Mountaineers have beaten Penn State only 2 times since 1955.
Oh, it's a long drought. Coverage begins at 2:30 Eastern next Saturday on CBS Sports, and the Mountaineers 7-0. They really outscored that opposition. What's the number?
304-97. That's outscoring your opposition.
And you knew that off the top of your head, right? First down for the Packers on the 36-yard line. 17-17 tie. Penalty marker down. Woodside. Todd Bowles and Alvin Walton hit him, and the penalty will be against the Packers. Illegal procedure. There is an injury on the sideline, and I don't know whether it was one of the officials with the chains, but apparently that's the case, and there's a whole lot of mud around there too. We've had a steady but light rain all day long, and he took quite a hit.
Well, I hope he's okay. You've heard of
illegal motion, 2 backs moving in the offense, 5 yards, it'll still be first down.
Yeah, you've heard of adding insult to injury. Well, this is adding a little mud to his injury.
That's a tough one. First down and 15, and we hope he's all right as he is getting up.
Packer trainer looking at him right now, and these fellas along the sidelines, they're not used to getting hit, obviously, and it can be very dangerous down there. You got to be alert at all times.
We had one game when a photographer really got hit pretty hard, and that'll happen. Especially, you know, if you're a photographer looking through a lens and someone comes right at you, that can affect your face and your eyes.
Well, and this man, obviously, he was working the chains. He probably didn't see it coming. As they say, they never saw what hit him.
Dexter Manley, we understand, has a bruised hip, and it's probable that he'll return. Marcus Cook has taken his place. There is Dexter, who has one of the 2 sacks today by the Redskins. Charles Mann, Dave Butts, and Darrell Grant are the others up front. Coleman, Marshall, and Olkowitz are the linebackers. Brian Davis went out of action, was replaced by Dennis Woodbury at one cornerback. Darrell Green, despite a sore knee and foot, has been in there all the way for the Redskins, and Walton and Bowles have been the safeties.
People are wondering why we have the stoppage of play, but this injury happened too close to the field for the officials to have play continue. So they're going to take this man off the field on a stretcher, and then we'll get back underway. But he's only about 5 yards from the playing field, and they want to protect him from further injury.
And while that all happens, we're going to tell you about next week on CBS as we move into the second half of the year, and leisurely tell you that the CBS Sports kickoff of the second half of the season starts with the NFL Today at 12:30. The Bears against the New England Patriots. They've been a Jekyll Hyde team, the Patriots. Phoenix and Dallas. Dallas licking their chops. They look like they had that game won today against Philadelphia.
Yeah, and the Rams are really having an outstanding afternoon today against Seattle. They'll be in New Orleans.
That's a big game. New Orleans has won to beat the Raiders earlier. And these Packers, who hope that things end up all right for them today, will go against Buffalo. It's a big doubleheader weekend. And in the second half of our doubleheader, it'll be the Minnesota Vikings against the San Francisco 49ers. A replay of last year's NFC divisional playoff.
Boy, and you know the 49ers will be looking for Anthony.
Well, Carter, of course, the wide receiver for the Vikings.
Yeah, I knew his name. I just couldn't come.
And Roger Craig. You know, Roger Craig may be the best running back going right now in football.
Well, he's got the best statistics going right now. He's over 1,000 yards in both receiving and rushing. And if anybody saw that game that he played last week against the Rams, you'll never see a better effort from one man than Roger Craig provided last week.
Maybe you were thinking of Anthony Munoz. He played a big role today as the Bengals took a big lead against the Houston Oilers and held their lead and won. Later scores, the Rams, as you mentioned,
Seattle's not having any luck with the NFC West. They lost last week to the Saints, and now the Rams, it seems like they've got it back together.
Boy, the Jets look terrible Monday night against Buffalo. Look what they're doing to Miami. They had been red hot with 4 wins in a row. Indianapolis over San Diego 9-0, your old club. Well, I tell you leave them, and a lot of goose eggs up there offensively.
A lot of pitcher's duels.
What's happening in your old division, the AFC West? Does anyone want a share of this? Denver loses today.
Well,
Seattle is losing.
With well way out, Denver is obviously a whole new team. Seattle is not playing well at all. They've got to go with the new quarterback, Kelly Stofford. Dave Craig has been out. And, you know, Kansas City and San Diego, they're about 3 years away. The opponent gets fired up.
And Detroit snaps a 6-game losing streak. They beat Kansas City 7-6. Buffalo over New England. They're a good team, the Bills. So we have run down all the scores for you. You're up to date. Now, this delay, as I'm sure, has to affect somebody because they're out there in the rain and chill.
It's hard to tell who's it going to affect more. I would think that it might affect the Packers more just because the Skins have gone down and got the tying touchdown.
First down and 15 on the 31 for Green Bay. They're in their own territory. Mikowski has Woodside out of the backfield, and Woodside is about 3 yards shy of a first down. Todd Bowles making the stop. He's been the offensive hero today, has Keith Woodside with 2 touchdown receptions, including one from 49 yards.
There you see his versatility. We talked about Kelvin Bryant being a very versatile back, but you won't see Kelvin Bryant lined up out wide like you will Keith Woodside. Woodside that time was going against Todd Bowles. The Packers feel that that's a mismatch in their favor.
Call it second down and 2 at the Green Bay 44. Makowski swings it out. Fullwood, incomplete. That'll bring up a 3rd down and 2.
This is not an easy catch for anybody, but it's a catch that you've got to make. And running backs, sometimes they're thinking more about running with the ball than catching the ball. That's their frame of reference, and you can see that Fullwood lost his concentration, didn't make the grab.
3rd and 2. Fullwood goes out of the game, and the Redskins bring in Hamilton and Hamill. 2 tackles. Makowski, and it's nearly intercepted by Darrell Green. Philip Epps was the intended receiver, and that's been Green's assignment all day. Just shadow Philip Epps, and basically he's done a good job.
He's done an outstanding job. His only minus mark would be that pass interference in the 2nd quarter, but this is a dropped pass. This is a dropped interception. If Green makes this catch, we may have a 7-point lead by the Redskins.
So Don Bracken will be in to kick, and Derek Shepard goes back with just under 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. 17-17 the score. And Shepard is going to let it bounce. Let's see if the Redskin had touched the ball, because the Packer went after it. It is still Washington's ball. So it did not deflect off of a Redskin player, which would have been a free ball. And we'll take a break right now. Thought that it did hit a Redskin player.
Well, this is Woodbury here, and he's pushed into the ball by Ron Pitts, and the ball will hit him right on the leg. And then what really tells you what happened is the reaction of the ball players. Watch how they see that ball down on the ground. They know it hit Woodbury. Now they're going after it, and Raven Caldwell picked up the recovery. Ball takes funny bounces. There you see it hit him in the left ankle. And it's a live ball.
Might have been the knee. 1st down on 16 for the Redskins in a tie game. Kelvin Bryant is stopped by Tim Harris. Tim Harris doesn't have any sacks today for the Packers. They have none, but he has been all around the ball this afternoon.
Well, he's what they call the rover back. He's going to play anywhere along that defensive front. He's their emotional leader. You can see he's trying to get the crowd involved in the game. He's trying to do everything possible to win this football game. He's their big play guy.
And doesn't take it down off, according to Hank Bullock. Now, look at the time of possession. Heavily favoring the Washington Redskins in this tie game. 2nd and 9 at the 17 with nearly 5 minutes to go in this 3rd quarter. That's Bryant, and he's down at the 21. We'll bring up 3rd and about 5 or 6 for the Redskins. Johnny Holland was on the stop that time.
Packers are very content to give Washington the short pass. We've seen Bryant catch a number of those little option routes over the middle so far, but what you also see is that scoreboard says 17-17 regardless of the stats.
3rd and 4, ball on the 22.
3rd down and 4 on the 22. Williams has Bryant. He's got the 1st down at the 30-yard line. David Brown makes the stop. Wasn't an easy pass for Williams. He had a hand in his face from a Packer defender.
Well, this is poor coverage by Dave Brown, number 32. This is his area of responsibility on the field, and Bryant makes the grab.
There's Bryant having a tremendous game. 1st down at the 30-yard line. He's gone over 100 yards rushing for the 2nd time this season. Gets a chance to chew up more yardage. Fumbles. And it appears that Bryant recovered his own fumble at the 38-yard line and got about 8 yards in the process. Tim Harris again.
Well, he did fumble, but the nice thing about playing on a grass field that's a little bit damp, the ball is not going to go anywhere when it hits the ground. He gets right down on top of this ball, got a good bounce, and got that right hand on it. This was a good stick. Bryant is going out of the game. This might have been a shot to the stomach that might have knocked the wind out of him a little bit.
Timmy Smith will replace him in the backfield on 2nd and 2 for Washington. Smith, first down to the 45. The stop by Brian Noble. Bob Conrad was the name of the injured member of the chain gang here. He's been a long time worker here at Packer games. They've taken him to the hospital for x-rays. Left leg injury, and we hope he's all right. There's the time remaining in the 3rd quarter. First down, Redskins on their own 45. Smith stays in the game. Williams against the rush finds Smith out of the backfield. And Mark Murphy making the tackle. It's another first down for the Redskins. And they're in the Packer territory at the 44-yard line, close to the 45.
Getting the feeling, Dick, that this ball game could come down to a field goal by one team or the other to decide it. And field goals have been very interesting and very adventuresome for both ball clubs this year.
That's what Max Zendejas wanted. He says, I want to kick the winning field goal. Monty Coleman says, I hope he tries, and I want to be there to block it. We got a long way to go.
No love lost between Zendejas and the Skins.
First down at the 45. Williams with a sidearm to Ricky Sanders, and he can't hold on. Sanders has not had much attention this afternoon. He came into the game as the leading receiver and 5 touchdown receptions on the year for Washington.
We saw a picture of Joe Gibbs there shaking his head in frustration. The frustration comes from the fact that here you've called the right play for the right defense. You've got the time to throw. The quarterback's thrown a good pass. The receiver's open, and he drops it. The worst possible thing that could happen.
Kelvin Bryant has come back in for the Skins with 1:35 to go in the 3rd quarter. Second down on the Green Bay 45. Plenty of time. Williams, hard pass, good catch. Bryant, that's his 9th reception of the game, and he is tackled by Johnny Holland at the Green Bay 41. Picked up only 4 yards that time. And you look at this quarter, you never know that each team has scored 7 points, checking the time of possession.
Well, of course, the turnover was a big play for the Packers. They capitalized on the fumble recovery after Donnie Warren fumbled, and they went in for their score. The time of possession means absolutely nothing at this point.
I would think with the score tied. Big 3rd down for Redskins in this quarter anyway. Williams drills it, and the pass is caught by Gary Clark. Maybe the best pass that Doug Williams has thrown all day, and a first down to the 18, a 23-yard pickup to Clark. Barkley on the stop.
The weak part of any zone defense is usually over the middle, and Williams is going to Gary Clark all the way on this ball, and he just throws a strike. First down. You're moving. You're down in what they call the red area. And Doug Williams can't wait for the next play.
He has completed 11 of his last 13 passes.
Been very patient, reading the defense well. He's got his rhythm. Everything's going well for Doug Williams at this point.
And they're going to let the clock run down, and the Redskins poised to take a lead again. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter with the score 17-17. We now pause for a 4th quarter here in Milwaukee. Dick Stockton and Dan Fouts all tied at 17, but the Redskins are threatening. They have a first down on the Packer 19. Big 23-yard pass to Gary Clark put him in this position. Doug Williams, the quarterback. Kelvin Bryant gets to the 15. Johnny Holland on the stop. Johnny Holland missed 3 games with a leg injury. Brian Noble, who started his first game last week against Minnesota after being a holdout, and Hank Bullitt told us, he says, I think you're going to see improved play from our inside backers, and it looked like they played better today.
Well, at least for the last 2 quarters they have. That first quarter was a disaster.
2nd and 6, Redskins on the Packer 15. Here's Bryant, and Bryant is tripped up.
Bryant
at about the 12-yard line will bring up third down.
Stills made the tackle.
Ken Stills with help from Holland making the stop again.
Really seemed like the Packers knew exactly what the Skins were going to do that time. Noble read the play, blitzed up inside, almost disrupted the handoff between Williams and Bryant.
Jim Lohmiller, who made a 33-yard field goal that put the Redskins in front at the start of the game and then missed a 46-yarder later on, getting ready in case they don't make a first down here on 3rd and 3 at the 12. Williams, and the pass to McEwen is complete, short of a first down, however, as he was tackled in the 11. A good play by Ken Stills.
Big hit by Ken Stills. Tough catch for McEwen to try to make and then get up the field for the first down. Sometimes what you want in this situation is for the ball and the receiver to make the catch or make the connection where he doesn't have to run for the first down, where he can just fall down and make it. Whether that was the design on that play or not, it really doesn't matter. They're short of the first down.
So Chip Lohmiller will come in, and the Redskins will call a timeout. Doug Williams signaled over to Joe Gibbs that they were short by maybe less than a yard. And with 4th down, they call a timeout.
40-second timeout.
And it's a 40-second timeout. Why would they call a timeout if they feel that there won't necessarily be a field goal?
Well, I think there's some indecision right now. I don't think Williams wants to go for the field goal. He feels that they're big enough and powerful enough up front to get the first down on 4th down. They only need a yard to go. They haven't been stopped yet in that type of situation. So they're talking about it right now on the sidelines. We'll just see who the strongest personality is. The old brain trust there, they're going after it now. They're thinking, well, if we're going to go for it, what type of play do you want to run? They've had a lot of success giving the ball to Timmy Smith and just going straight ahead against the Packers. But now, do you want those 3 points more? It's really the decision that all coaches have to make, and it looks like we know what this one is.
So Lohmiller comes off the field, and the Redskins will go for it on 4th and less than a yard. So coming in the ball game, the linebackers, John Anderson. Up front, they bring Bob Nelson in. And Ed Simmons, a tackle, is an eligible receiver as a 3rd tight end for the Redskins. Here it is, 4th and less than 1 at about the 10.
Good news is that Donnie Warren is back in the lineup for the Redskins.
Terry Orr is the blocking back for Timmy Smith. Redskins are 3 of 4 on 4th downs this year. Here is Smith. He'll have enough, I think, for the first down.
Smith.
Timmy Smith behind the wall of blockers. They have yet to signal officially, but the Redskins appear confident that they have first down yardage.
Well, they really went after it with a lot of force. Terry Orr's about 230, and McEwen was out in front also. And of course, they're running behind the huge offensive tackle, Dave Butts.
Now the Redskins are not so sure, and now we'll have a measurement. So the question is, do the Redskins keep this drive going, or do they turn it over on downs to Green Bay? And they have the first down by the length of a football.
This is just a straight handoff to Timmy Smith deep in the I formation. He lowers his head, and it appeared that he had it right away, but this was a lot closer than we thought at first. Good block by Simmons. He turns out. Good follow by Smith, following Orr up into the hole, and we've got a 1st and goal situation.
At the 9-yard line for the Redskins, they led 10-0 at one time. Trailed 17-10, tied the game. Now looking to take the lead. Kelvin Bryant down to the 5.
Bryant.
John Anderson.
Anderson made the
Second
tackle.
goal for the Redskins. They led 10-0. They scored their 10 points in the first 11 minutes of the game on a Lohmiller field goal and a 21-yard pass from Doug Williams to Art Monk. And then the Packers came back. Woodside, 49-yard catch and run, made it 10-7. And then in the second quarter, Zendejas' field goal in the final minute tied it up. Green Bay took a lead, and the Redskins answered that with a score. Bryant again gets down to about the 2, and it'll be 3rd and goal. Harris and Carragher that time.
That defense of the Packers, they've got to be exhausted. They've been on the field for the better part of this second half, and it's much more physically demanding to play defense than it is to play offense. You might say, well, that, you know, the Skins have been out there a long time too, but there are certain players on each offensive play that can rest during that play. When you play defense, you can't rest at any time.
Look at that, 8.5 minutes the Redskins have had the ball. When they scored their last touchdown, they held the ball for over 7 minutes. That's more than a quarter. 3rd and goal on the 2. Williams fires, and a fine defensive play by Holland. He was going for Kelvin Bryant, who was a yard in the end zone, and it's 4th down.
That was an outstanding play by Johnny Holland. He had Kelvin Bryant out of the backfield, man on man. Here's Bryant. He's going to come out and run a little option route, and Johnny Holland is going to pick him up and then make the play. Williams has all day to throw, but he's going to one man only, and that's Kelvin Bryant. And there is Holland with the big play.
So the Redskins don't get the touchdown, even though they had 1st and goal at the 9. Now Lohmiller will attempt a 20-yard field goal. He's 1 for 2 this afternoon. And the kick is good. A line drive kick, giving the Redskins the lead. 20-17 with just under 11 minutes remaining in the 4th quarter. Great ball control for the Washington Redskins as they lead 20-7 with 10:59 to go in the game. Where are we? Hi, everybody. Mr. Fouts and I will welcome you to County Stadium in Milwaukee. We want to tell you that this shade has been up most of this game, I think.
You notice it's on Dick's side of the booth.
I'm glad you can see it clear. Lohmiller will kick off for the Redskins, who lead by 3. He's 2 for 3 in field goal range today. Woodside and Fullwood are back, and it's going to be Brent Fullwood, a yard in the end zone. And he's down at the 20-yard line by Dean Hamill. Well, tonight on CBS, 60 Minutes will bring you 3 brand new stories and Andy Rooney. That's followed by the season premiere of Murder, She Wrote, and then it's part 2 of the CBS miniseries Jack the Ripper, starring Michael Caine and Jane Seymour. That's tonight on CBS. That'll be after this game, the Redskin-Packer game, except on the West Coast. And Mountain. Fans watching in the Mountain time zone as well. 1st and 10 at the 19. Mikowski going deep for Sharp and covered downfield by Dennis Woodbury, who has been in there in place of Brian Davis, who was shaken up in the first half.
Well, we're going back to what the Packers said they wanted to do starting this game, and one of the things they've mentioned to us is trying to go deep against the bump and run coverage of the Redskins. Every team wants to do that when you play the Skins. You're going to throw for a low percentage as far as the passer is concerned. That time Mikowski didn't put enough air on the ball. He didn't arch it enough down the field to give his receiver a chance at the catch.
2nd and 10. They sent Fullwood outside as a receiver. Mikowski goes to Woodside, out of bounds, close to the 1st down, and a penalty marker is down on the far side of the field. Wilbur Marshall made the stop on Woodside. It appears to be against Green Bay. Mikowski has completed just 29% of his passes today, yet his team trails by only 3 points.
That's an unfortunate play for the Packers. They had picked up 9 yards with that pass to Woodside, but they were illegally in motion that time. And again, if they have any chance of winning this ball game, they can't afford that type of mistake.
2nd and 15.
If nothing else, they put a scare into the Redskins with 17 unanswered points after they trailed 10-0. But the Redskins have tied it and have gone ahead with 10 unanswered points of their own. And now Don Mikowski will call a timeout. So the Packers have used already 2 timeouts in this second half. Redskins trying to keep a hold of a share of first place in the NFC Eastern Division. Lead the Packers 20-17. 10:39 remaining in the fourth quarter. Second down 15 for Don Mikowski and the Packers. They're on their own 14-yard line. Mikowski, Sterling Sharp had his hands on the ball and dropped it. One he should have caught. Woodbury defending on the play.
One thing that happens when you play the Redskins as a quarterback, you know that on Monday morning you're going to be sore physically, but you're also going to be sore mentally. They do so many things to disrupt your timing, to disrupt your concentration out there as a quarterback, that you just feel terrible come Monday. And Mikowski has been struggling all day, and now he's in a situation that is a very low percentage situation for him to get out of this hole.
4 wide receivers for the Packers on 3rd and 15. Mikowski gets by man, fires, and it's off the hands of Sharp again. And a whole bunch of Redskins were going after the loose ball. But once again, Sharp was there and the ball bounced off of him.
But, you know, Mikowski's shown me a lot today. He's shown me the ability to get away from the pass rush. This is Charles Mann, and this is just an outstanding move to get away from him. Then he throws a good ball to Sharp, but Sharp doesn't make the catch for the second play in a row.
It's 4th down, and Don Bracken will kick from the end zone. Packers have only 8 plays run off this half. They have all been passes. Shepard is back for the Redskins. Good kick by Bracken. Shepard backed up. Slipped, penalty marker down, and so is Shepard at his own 40-yard line.
Now we got an illegal block against the Packers by the Redskins, and this will take this ball back. Great punt, though, by Bracken coming from deep in his own part of the field.
Want to remind you, 60 minutes follows the game, except on the West Coast and Mountain Time Zone.
During the one dot, number 37 of the receivers. It'll be a 10-yard penalty, first down and 10.
It's Kevin Williams.
You know, at this stage of the game and with the score that it is right now, anything can happen. But what really is more important is field position. And this is a penalty that happens at about the 40-yard line, and it pushes them back to the 30. So it's only 10 yards, but 10 yards is very important at this stage.
First down with 10:17 remaining in the fourth quarter. Doug Williams has a wide open Art Monk, incomplete. Couldn't hold on. Mark Murphy defending on the play.
Yeah, you see the red gloves that Art Monk is wearing. All the receivers are doing this now these days, ever since they outlawed Stickum. Those gloves are as tacky as pine tar or that Stickum that they use, and I don't see why they don't outlaw the gloves. Maybe it's because sometimes it's cold out, or maybe it's that type of deal, but I don't see the difference between the Stickum and the gloves.
I'm sure that you've just gone in favor with all the girls wide receivers in the NFL with that comment. But you're right, basically, if you outlaw some, outlaw them all.
Well, I played with a guy by the name of Charlie Joyner that didn't use anything, and he was a pretty fair receiver.
2nd and 10, Williams. Incomplete. Ricky Sanders, the intended receiver, and that'll bring up 3rd down. This half, Williams has completed 13 of 20 passes.
But again, he's really showing a little bit of his rustiness. The last 2 balls have just been a little bit too far, a little too high to Sanders on that one.
3rd down. 10:06 to go in the fourth quarter. Plenty of time. The Redskins lead 20-17. Williams. And it's intercepted. Picked off by Ken Stills. Still gone inside the 35, and another big turnover for the Packers. It was intended for Gary Clark.
This is why you play a lot of zone defense, to get these types of deflections. This ball should have been caught, but it goes right through Gary Clark, and Stills his heads up to make the grab.
Ken Stills with the interception.
Again, it's Clark working over the middle in the zone defense. He is open. Williams throws him a perfect pass. How did he miss it? I don't know.
Free safety who has not played most of the game. Chuck Cecil, the rookie, has. But that was a big pickoff for the Packers. First down on the Redskin 34. Here's Woodside. Woodside with a cut inside. Gets 9 yards to the 26. Wilbur Marshall on the stop.
Well, they get a turnover, and it just changes their entire personality. All of a sudden, now the Packers are threatening to score to take the lead. It just shows you that they really believe in what they're doing. They love playing for Lindy and Funny. They have such a positive attitude going into this ball game. And here they are. They're about to score on the world champs, maybe beat them.
They're down low to 1 timeout left, so they better not rely on too much of those. 2nd and 1 at the 25. And they go to Mason, who has stopped in his tracks for no gain. Marcus Cook was there, so they try to cross up the Redskins by giving it to the fullback Mason, but Marcus Cook was alert, and that'll bring up 3rd and short.
Cook has really done an outstanding job for the Skins this year. You mentioned how he's played in all 5 games, has played a lot. He really gives him an added dimension of being able to play inside or outside. Very, very valuable. Should be a great player for a lot of years.
And without Mann, and Manley, he has started in a lot of those positions, left and right end, as you look at final scores in games this afternoon. 3rd and 1 at the 25. Woodside is stopped, and Charles Mann came in that time. And another loss on the play, back to the 27-yard line, and the Redskin defense has come up big when they had to, and it's 4th down.
That's why they're the world champs. They can answer any challenge. The Packers got the turnover, great field position, got a good gain on 1st down, but Charles Mann says, you're not going to get that 1st down. We're going to make you try to kick that field goal to tie this one up.
So here the drama for Max Zendejas, who earlier kicked a 34-yarder. This one from 46 yards. His longest has been 50. He wanted to beat the Redskins. He can tie the game here. Zendejas' kick is up, and it is no good. It is off to the right. So Max Zendejas does not tie the score. And the Redskins keep their lead with 7:37 to go. It'll be Redskins ball, and they're in front 20-7. Goal by Max Zendejas. Here was the reaction by Lindy and Fonte.
Well, he saw it had enough distance, whether it was going to go through or not. Oh.
Zendejas 1 for 2 on the day. Redskins 1st and 10 on their own 28-yard line. Kelvin Bryant, the running back. Williams pass complete to Art Monk at the 34. And now for an NFL Today update. Let's check in with Brent Musburger. Brent?
I think we've got a couple of finals now. The Rams roll over Seattle 31-10. Jim Everett throws 3 touchdown passes for the winners. Seattle turns it over 5 times. Charles White rushes for 83 yards in the win by Los Angeles. Indianapolis shuts out San Diego. The final on that one 16-0. And boy, did they miss Dan Fouts. Back to Dick.
You can say that again. They sure missed Dan. 2nd and 4 at the 34. We have a stoppage of play. No flag was thrown.
There's no foul. The tight end can reset.
Johnny Warren just kind of flinched in his stance, and that drew the Packers across. But there was a lot of confusion whether it should have been a penalty or not by the officials even. Good call, though. A good no call.
Under 7 minutes to go. Joe Gibbs looking for that 5-3 midpoint record and a share of the lead in the division as a 2nd and 4 on the 34-yard line. Kelvin Bryant cuts and gets the first down. Tim Harris on the stop, and the Packers are going to have to stop the Redskin running game. Otherwise, the Redskins may use up the rest of that clock on the ground.
Now, this is exactly what Joe Gibbs wants to do. He wants to take time off this clock, move his team down the field. He needs to get in the end zone, though, for a touchdown, and he cannot afford to settle for the three-pointer.
Kelvin Bryant has gained 146 yards today. Best game of the season for him. The clock is down to 11 seconds. Doug Williams was heading over toward the sideline as if he were calling a timeout. Now, what's the problem?
Well, he's waiting until that clock goes all the way down to 1 second before he calls that timeout. He knew he wanted to call timeout, but because of the situation in the game, he wanted to take more time off the game clock. So he waited all the way down to 1 second before he used that timeout.
Again, let's run down the slate of exciting games we have next Sunday for you on CBS. It all begins with the NFL Today at 12:30 Eastern. The Bears travel to New England for an interconference battle. The Cardinals and the Cowboys go at it in Dallas. It'll be the Rams and the Saints in New Orleans in a big one. Both teams winning today. The Packers against Buffalo in upstate New York. And the second half of our doubleheader, Minnesota and San Francisco.
Anthony Carter is going to be playing against the 49ers. You know, that game he had last year in the playoffs, I don't think anybody will ever forget the great big plays that he made in that game and in the preceding playoff game against the New Orleans Saints. 49ers look like they've got it all back going together. Roger Craig has really given them a lift, and Joe Montana just continues to amaze me. He gets hurt every week. He plays tough every week. He makes the big plays. That 93-yard drive last week against the Rams was outstanding.
What do you think of Bill Walsh's tendency to keep bringing in Young?
I think he would like to get more production out of Steve Young. He hasn't quite got it the way he wants it yet. His real ace in the hole, though, is Joe Montana.
1st and 10 following the timeout. Bryant with 1 yard. Clock runs, 5:45 remaining in the 4th quarter. Robert Brown made the stop.
This is really where the 45-second clock comes into effect now. We'll see Williams. He'll just milk the clock down right to about 5 seconds each time before he snaps the ball. So with 5.5 minutes to go in the game right now, and it's only 2nd down, he can take some time off the clock before they're in a situation where they either make the 1st down or have to punt the ball away.
2nd and 9. Williams waited until there were 4 seconds left on the clock. Bryant, though, is stuffed for a loss by John Anderson, and that'll bring up 3rd and long for the Redskins.
One of the risks you run by doing that is you take your offense out of their own natural rhythm. You've got your offensive linemen down in their stance for 4 or 5. At that time, they were in their stance for about 15 seconds. Usually, you just want them up there, get down in your stance, hike the ball, and get off and hit somebody. But the Redskins' offensive line really sat around there for a long time, waiting for Williams to snap the ball. That's the risk you run by trying to milk the clock.
Loss of 5 yards on the play. You saw the Browns leading the Cardinals, who came in tied with the Redskins and Giants for the lead in the NFC East. They go down now to 1 second on the clock before Williams got it off. Here's Don Warren. And Warren is stopped at the 45. And it'll be 4th down. And the Redskins will have to kick it away. Blaze Winter and Mark Lee on the stop, and they now have under 4 minutes to go.
This shows you the confidence that Joe Gibbs has in 2 aspects of his football team. Number 1, his special teams. He feels good that they'll get good coverage down there. But number 2, he doesn't believe that the Packers can drive 80 or so yards for the winning touchdown.
Greg Coleman will be kicking, and you saw Sterling Sharp back for the Packers. And they're going to use a lot of time here as well. And on the game clock, 3:25 remain. Coleman gets it off. Sharp gets hit. He had called for the fair catch, and Sharp was interfered with, and so they'll mark some yardage off in the Packers' favor. It was Kevin Williams who ran into him.
This will give the Packers 15 yards here, and this really gives them great field position. Take a look at it. He's signaled for the fair catch, but whether he signals for the fair catch or not, he has a right to make the catch.
Interference with the opportunity to make the fair catch. Number 37 on the kickers, 15 yards, first down and 10.
Boy, Joe Gibbs hates those kind of penalties.
Well, there's just no way you can give a team 15 free yards like that. You've got them backed up in a tremendous situation. They would have had to drive the ball 82 yards for a touchdown, and now they get a free 15 yards.
Remember, the Packers have only one timeout left. Redskins have been penalized 11 times for over 100 yards today. So with 3:17 on the clock, first down for the Packers. Out of the backfield is Fullwood, and Fullwood gets to the 36-yard line. Didn't get many yards that time. Monty Coleman on the stop. There's the time remaining.
Well, they're not going to their hurry-up offense either, which I think might be a mistake. They don't have those extra timeouts like you mentioned, Dick. They only have one to use, and now they're taking a lot of time off the clock unnecessarily.
Coming into this drive, they had the ball for less than 4 minutes in this half. Washington with great ball control. Now the Packers need a drive. 2nd and 6 on their own 36. Makowski runs right into Darrell Grant. And a loss on the play will bring up 3rd down.
Makowski's really shaken up there. He really took a lick there from Darrell Grant. Grant was just playing back for that specific reason, to spy on Makowski. Makowski's trying to cut back inside, runs into his own center, or own left guard, Rich Moran there, and Grant's in there to make the big stick.
Loss of 3, 3rd and 9 at the 33. Makowski has Sharp, first down. Sterling Sharp down the sideline. Todd Bowles trips him up, and the Packers may be in business. A 40-yard gain, here it is.
Sterling Sharp had dropped this same pass a moment ago on a previous possession. Here he makes a grab, and then he turns outside where he gets some help from Larry Mason to spring him down the sideline. This is why Sterling Sharp was the #1 pick of the Packers earlier this year. He's a big play guy.
And a 2-minute warning with 1:54 remaining. Our 2-minute warning in effect with 1:54 to go. A 40-yard pass play from Makowski to Sharp. And now the Packers, with only one timeout left, are threatening. They have a first down on the Redskins 26 with 1:54 to go. Dan?
Well, they want to get Zendejas at least in a little bit better field goal position. He missed from about this range earlier, but they're also thinking touchdown.
On first down, Makowski runs it inside the 20 and inside the 15. Kurt Gouveia on the stop and a 14-yard pickup. Clock is running.
This is what the Redskins feared more than anything coming into the game, a running mobile quarterback. Randall Cunningham has absolutely killed the Skins in the past with this type of move. Makowski looked like he was trapped again, but he made the play. He used great speed to run away from the tacklers, and now they're in excellent position.
Makowski has gained 38 yards on 3 carries today.
He's got everybody in this stadium believing that the Packers can win this game.
First and 10 on the 12. Sharp in motion. Woodside dives inside the 10. Under a minute to play. The Packers have one timeout left. The Redskins are trying to protect their share of the lead in the NFC East. They know that the Giants have won, but the Cardinals are losing to the Browns. What do you call here if you're Lindy and Fonte?
Well, I'm going to throw the ball twice now in a row. I'm going to try to get that ball in the end zone. We can't afford. We don't have enough time to run the ball too many more times.
Zendejas, just in case, is getting ready. Perry Kemp is the wide receiver now coming in motion. 2nd and 7. Woodside, and they run it to the 5. And now the Packers have used up their last timeout with 17 seconds left. And 3rd down coming up. There is Max Zendejas. Now, here are 2 things to know in this 4th quarter. First of all, the Redskins had a 1st and goal at the 9 early in the period and had to settle for a field goal instead of getting the touchdown. Then, following a Stills interception by Green Bay, Zendejas there missed a 46-yard field goal to tie the game. He may have another opportunity, but you got to think Lindy's trying for 6.
Well, I thought that, but now he's used his last timeout. He cannot afford to run the ball again to try for the touchdown. He's got to throw the ball on this play and hope that obviously they get the score, but if he doesn't, throw the incompletion, don't take a sack. If he takes a sack, then they have to hustle the field goal team on the field in a very chaotic situation.
Now Green Bay in overtime, I would think, would not necessarily favor them. Would they against a team like the Redskins?
I would favor the Redskins at almost any situation against anybody in this league, and especially in overtime. But the emotions right now are riding so high on the Packers side of the field that they believe they can get this one in for the touch, and the worst thing that can happen is they'll get a field goal to tie it up to send it into that overtime. One other factor to think about now, if they have to kick a field goal, it'll be from the resodded portion of the field.
All right, here it is, 3rd and 3 from the 5. Mikowski to throw. Woodside, incomplete, and it's 4th down. And a tremendous rush put on Mikowski. Todd Bowles was defending Woodside that time, but he had to get rid of the ball in a hurry. And here is Zendejas to try to tie the game and send it into overtime. So he gets another opportunity against the Redskins, his former team.
Joe Gibbs is trying to get timeout to ice Zendejas, but the Redskin players, they're just thinking about the block.
24-yard attempt. The Redskins wanted a timeout. They didn't see Gibbs. And here's Zendejas' kick. It's no good. It's off to the left. Zendejas has missed 2 field goals, including a 24-yarder, and the Redskins will hold on. What can you say? Max Zendejas, who wanted revenge so badly against the Redskins today.
He'll never get a better chance. And this ball is just wide to the left. I'm not sure anybody got a hand. If anybody did, it was Dave Butts. And here's the reaction from both coaches. Joe can't believe it. Either can Lindy.
11 seconds remain.
Just hooked this one wide to the left. Something of a problem that he has had throughout his career is hitting the ball to the left.
Last week he missed the conversion when he hit the left upright. He missed 2 field goals in the 4th quarter, and as a result, the Washington Redskins, talk about dodging bullets, dodge one today as Lindy and Fonte's 2-game winning streak comes to an end. The Packers battle the Redskins. Doug Williams comes back a winner. And Joe Gibbs' Redskins are indeed 5-3, still tied for 1st place. We'll be back. Wide to the left, and the Redskins hold on and win on the road in Milwaukee. So for Dan Fouts, I'm Dick Stockton saying so long from Milwaukee. Final score, the Redskins 20, the Packers 17. You've been watching CBS Sports coverage of the National Football League.